What is up, Touchdown Tribe? We are back. So lots to get into, as always. There's always something going on in the sports world. First, second quarter, we got some NFL topics to cover. Gonna do a little halftime, do a little check-in with the Touchdown Tribe, see where we're all at with our thoughts. And then fourth quarter, we're gonna get into some college football topics. And then we're gonna have a 2-minute drill, and I'm gonna give y'all my final take, my play call, okay? So, like I said, lots to cover. Let's go ahead and get started with our intro.
Yeah, and I can speak on that because I watched Ty Simpson on Down to Business podcast with Caleb Downs, and Ty Simpson even said that the coaching wasn't there against Indiana. So he's even kind of spoke on his thoughts with DeBoer compared to Nick Saban.
Chelsea, very well said.
I say we hit somebody. Huh? Ooh. We ain't lost a drink. What that mom gonna say? Ooh, my baby.
I want to eat a Kirk Coochie board.
Nothing says college like singing Journey while holding on to a goose.
with the headgear.
He's gonna sing into the goose.
I don't want to see it, but I'm gonna see it. You know, he's a white guy playing DB, so you know it doesn't happen often. So you know when it does happen, you know everybody loves it.
Yeah.
Go Bulldogs.
Yale Bulldogs.
Oh, wow. Not so fast, midget. Not so fast.
Midget?
Yeah, little guy. Hey, not so fast. I go with Harvard. What's the matter?
And I had to go back and replay this because what the f is she crying for, boy? Bitch must have bet her soul on this game. Then watch this next white lady come up.
You're still alive.
Boy, she act like somebody killed a pet.
Caleb Daniels.
Caleb Daniels.
Oh yeah, of course we know who
That's
that
the
is.
helmet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorites actually.
What Caleb Daniels does is special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like him?
Just so good at ball.
CD.
Yeah.
Come on now.
When we see Caleb Daniels and we think to ourselves, holy fuck, that guy.
He can play.
Influencer with the helmet.
Yeah. Wait.
Caleb Daniels, absolute beast, dude. Fucking shout out Caleb Daniels.
Yeah, definitely my favorite helmet. Something back to Burrow real quick. He's got a Batmobile. Have you guys been in the?
Who is Caleb Daniels?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
He's Caleb Daniels.
Who is Caleb Daniels?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck his first name is. What's his name? What's the quarterback for the Bears?
Caleb Williams. Put two quarterbacks together.
I've been to Charlotte. Matter of fact, I used to date a girl in Charlotte. Yeah, never forget. 2003. I wonder how she doing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how she doing. Yeah, in Charlotte. I've been to Charlotte. I've been to Charlotte twice. I've been to Raleigh. I've been to Raleigh twice. Raleigh.
Oh, okay. Close enough.
That's how you say it. How you say it again? You for real? But it's spelled R-A-L-E-I-G-H.
Raleigh.
That's Raleigh.
Close enough. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, she was nice too, huh? She was nice too, boy.
Your team lost.
Okay.
Now let me celebrate.
Go ahead, celebrate.
Say you used to take a Viagra before the game?
Yeah, half a body. Just a little bit.
You really did?
Yeah, it get the blood flow going.
Okay.
The NFL don't test for that. When the blood flow is going, right?
But for the wrong reasons, though.
No. You take the whole.
Boy, you out there with your hormones going crazy, man.
No, listen to me.
You around straight dudes, dog.
He was eager to wrap something up, boy.
Hey, listen. The increased blood flow, it causes more exposure.
Hey, Chad, you out there, you like this?
Nah, see, y'all don't understand. I ate McDonald's, and I took Viagra, and I drank Red Bull, and I didn't have sex for 12 months. It was the method behind my madness.
Don't you ever take nothing to my fault. I'm gonna block your ass. You ain't finna say nothing to my fault. I don't know where that came from. Nope.
To the back of Marcus Lattimore's net. Lattimore pushes it. Mike Evans comes flying out of the top rope and lays out Lattimore.
Down. This is my Christmas present, and I got a loss.
Oh, no. You probably would have rather had Cole, huh?
Yeah, probably. I'm feeling two of two things. A, I want A.J. Brown packing his bags, and I want him somewhere else that is not here. I love you, AJ, but like you can't make those drops in that game. And I also want Kevin Patullo flipping burgers at like the local McDonald's or something. I don't care.
Touchdown, 14-0. And then Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan going at each other. This is something else. Watch this, folks. Now you talk about a fight. This is serious stuff. This is Jimmy on your left, and that's Howie on the right. And that's how we warm up for the pregame show. But
watch this, George.
Yeah.
He about that life.
Chris, why the f*** you at that house? Why the f*** you at that house?
Now, why is he at that big? Bro, he should be in the NFL right now. He should be at training camp. Well, what's going on? This is the next Lions freaking running back, all right, Chris? Let's get you on the fucking squad ASAP, all right? Just quit messing around in these suburban neighborhoods. Let's get you on the fucking show.
She's a 10, but she thinks the yellow line on the football field is real.
What?
What's her rating now?
She really thinks it's real?
Yeah, she thinks it's real.
Yeah, it's probably like a 5.
She's a 10, but she asked, why do they always run it up the middle into a bunch of people and send it to the side?
Wait, hang on. Yeah, that's a 5 right there.
She's a 10, but she thinks Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the next 5 years.
She's a 0, negative, frozen factor.
She's a 10, but she wishes they kept Mac Jones.
Oh, 100.
Come on!
I'm not going to rate anybody but my girlfriend.
And I'm like, bro, Cowboys supposed to be playing tonight. What the fuck is going on? I got my hat on, I got my jersey on, I got my forces on, I got my swag on, I done prayed to my Jesus, everything, want it?
Mark, did you have baby oil on today?
No. We gotta keep that for somebody else, bro. Yeah, that's not my question right there. I did do it as a kid, though. We can't even ask that no more, bro. It's too much going on in life right now with that, man. We can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that.
What? What the fuck?
I knew how important this was for our team. Our team chill. I knew how important this was for our team, and just.
Hey, when you more product than anybody, you tell go. What y'all tell? Like to the left or the right? No, I tell them go number 2 all the way up to a fade and just give me a football. It's a football, bro. Number 2. Hey, Paul, what do you tell them? Hey, it's a little offside. Leave us offside. Leave us offside. I always tell them I should leave a little bit on the top.
Oh. I gotta tell you, we had a meeting. Hey, coach, things are not going well. No, Ray Charles can say that, brother.
So what's next?
Well, I gotta tell you this, though. Say, coach, you got $17.1 million on your contract. We're gonna give it to you. I said, what time do you want me to leave and what door you want me out of, brother?
This is a Coke bottle, it's not a crystal ball.
So everybody done had at least one coach or teacher with anger issues. But wait, what the hell going on? Coach done blew a gasket. Blood pressure pushing 200 over too damn high. Looked like the player wasn't where he should have been when he was supposed to be there. But he tried to sneak on the field. Too late for all that. Head coach got a drive-by warning. I'm about to get in his ass. Well, Mike, let's simmer down a bit. No! Get out! Having to walk past after be the worst part. So I'm running. Maybe if I move fast enough, he'll forget. Only thing he forgot was a damn weapon. He chased Paulie D all the way to the sideline. Teammates trying not to be next. Hey, man, chill out. Number 24 barely looked back. I ain't see nothing, coach. I'm trying to play. All other coaches unfazed, except Ricky Rose. This is his favorite show. Making the coach mad to the point where they want to fight is crazy. He almost tore everything in his knee to get to Andrew. Top tier rage bait pop up like an Xbox achievement. The shortest player on the team, the only one stepped in to help my man. I just know he was calling him all type of pansies and mother lovers and finish it off with you're uncoachable. Face on lobster red and he just gonna walk off like ain't nothing happened.
I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take it serious. Real serious. I put my heart and soul into it every single week.
All I'm saying is the camera shows.
I'm just telling you right now what I do every single week. Every single week. I put my freaking heart and soul into this. I study my off. I don't go out there and laugh. It's not funny. It's not fun. Nothing's funny to me. I don't want to go out there and get embarrassed on Monday Night Football in front of everybody.
That's why I'm asking you what.
I'm telling you right now. We're talking. Deuce and I are talking.
What was the context?
I'm done. Sorry. I'm not dealing with it.
Jones? Lamar, there was that point in the season where you guys lost 3 straight, 4 or 5.
Mike Jones, that's lit. Mike Jones, that's lit right there. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all right.
Obviously, with what I observed the past few seasons, with the defense like missing basic fundamental skills like the open field tackles and those issues, I know they slowly improved those elements over the season, but just not enough when it matters in big games like against Indiana.
Their quarterback is impressive. I mean, his ability to just escape and make plays on the run, I mean, it's just outstanding what I've seen. And just the defensive side of it as well. They're definitely going to be a concern for me going forward if Alabama doesn't get their offensive line straightened out.
Chelsea, that's a great point.
All right, y'all. We are back. Like I said, first, second quarter, we're going to get into some NFL topics, do a little halftime check-in with the chat, and then fourth quarter, we're going to get into some college football topics, and then do a 2-minute drill with my final calls, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with your guys' drops. So I have drops for those of you who are my OGs in the chat. Let me find that. All right, here we go. So we have Cree in the building saying hit the like button. Shout out to you, Cree. And you had a great live the other night. It was quite interesting. I just feel like people need to, leave certain people alone. Just let things go and be at peace. And I don't know why everybody has to stir up trouble, but that just seems to be the trend on the internet. They want to stir up trouble. But shout out to you, go Cree. Let me find your drop.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
Shout out to you. All right, and we have the greatest mod in the YouTube streets, Pooh Man. Shout out to you, Pooh Man. Let's play your drop.
Rolex wearing. Woo! Diamond ring wearing. Woo! Kiss stealing. Woo! Wheeling dealing. Woo! Limousine ride. Woo! Jet flying. Woo! Son of a gun. Woo! And I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Now give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo!
Shout out to you, Pooh Man. All right, and we have Derek in the building. Derek, you came in swinging. Let's see. Let me find this one. Okay, here we go. Derek, you said, I challenge Cree to a celebrity death match. I'm sure, Derek, we could turn that into like an AI video. Now that you said that. Maybe Cree will turn that into an AI video for you. Celebrity death match. That's hilarious. Okay. Never a dull moment with you, Derek. I swear. All right. Let's find your drop. I think I passed it. Okay, here we go.
Leave Chelsea alone. What's wrong with you, G-Hunter? I'm the one who's telling you about your fantasy. Listen. Send me your address so I can send you a rainbow flag. Since you want to look like Alicia Keys. That's okay, man. You can't even grow. You can't even grow enough hair. I'm not accustomed to a man wanting to look like a woman. And you too dark to look like her. Why don't you? You know what? You look like a good Jennifer Hudson. That's what you would look like.
Gremlin, nigga. Gremlin.
Shout out to you, Derek. That never gets old, I swear. All right. Let's see. Did I miss? Okay, I think I covered everybody. You said do it. Yeah, you know what? I haven't messed with AI videos since I made that G Hudson AI video. I haven't messed with it since. So maybe I need to go back into it and try to keep up with my skills with that. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all want me. Mike Jones. Yeah. That's funny. Pooh Man, dropping that line. Yeah, it never gets old though. All right. let's go ahead and do the Touchdown Tribe national anthem because I had Derek. Shout out to Derek. He reminded me because I always forget that national anthem. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. So all rise for our Touchdown Tribe national anthem.
On the Star Spangled Banner, Fergie.
That our flag was still there.
You know what's funny about that national anthem is, you know, if you know the story of where I got that from, if you were new to the channel, I got that from Coop. So Coop, shout out to the Do Better podcast, Theo Coop. He has his national anthem. Then Cree had a national anthem. And so then I was like, you know what? I need a national anthem. Like, I cover sports. That's like a great place for a national anthem. So then I have a national anthem. And then Beardman got a national anthem. So now we all have these national anthems. It's funny. But shout out to that. Keeping the trend going for the national anthems. Alright, y'all, let's go ahead and do a motivational video to get y'all hyped up for the show.
End of every day, you look yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, did I get better today? If the answer is yes, and you do that for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, how much better are you gonna be? Are you getting better every single day? That's the question. And it's just taking small steps. You don't try to get it all done in one day, in 1 week, in 1 year. It's the process of getting better every day and doing that for a period of years that then create the masterpiece.
Truth. You know, you're not going to get it done overnight. There's a process that goes into it. You have to put in hard work and a lot of effort. And that's one thing I've learned with doing this channel is there's a lot of hard work and effort that goes into this. When Coop, shout out to the Do Better podcast with Theo Coop. But when Coop said a lot of people want to give up on doing YouTube because there's more work that goes into it versus doing short form content, that is the absolute truth. I'm telling you. Transition. Clap it out, Chelsea. Clap it out. Why can I not say that word?
Clap it out. Clap it out. Clap it out.
Transitioning. I don't know why I was struggling with that word, but transitioning from TikTok to YouTube, that was no joke for me. I'm telling you, no joke whatsoever. I went through a process. I had to buy into the process to improve and get better. I feel like I'm, getting the hang of it now. But what Kobe Bryant said, that's the truth. You have to have a process, and that's how you get better and you grow, and then you end up with a masterpiece. All right, let's go ahead and get into the first quarter of the show. So let's see. You know what? Pooh Man sent me this image in the Discord. If you all want to send me content or get into a football discussion or sports discussion in general, because I cover all sports, the best place to do it is in my Discord. And shout out to Pooh Man, he did drop my Discord link if y'all want to be a part of that. If y'all have trouble with the link, let me know and I can drop a new one for y'all. But Pooh Man sent me this in the Discord, and it's Dan Marino compared to Josh Allen. Now let me see, I need a bigger screen here, y'all. Let me go to my big screen. Okay, so my big thing with this is look at Marino, how many seasons he played. So he played 17 seasons, and you have Josh Allen only in 6 seasons so far, right? So that's a big thing. But just looking at these numbers, it will be interesting to see if Josh Allen can match what Marino does. It would be, you know what, I need to do some investigating. I feel like, the passer ratings there, like he's on track to definitely pass Marino, maybe. I don't know. I mean, interceptions for 6 seasons and only having a total of 75 interceptions with Josh Allen, that's impressive. Passing touchdowns, 135, and in 17 seasons, Marino had 420. So I feel like, you know, Josh Allen is on track to definitely put up some numbers to match Marino. I don't know though. Like, it's interesting looking at the comparisons. And okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, right? Marino never won a Super Bowl. So it would be interesting if Josh Allen has a similar career to Marino, but never gets a Super Bowl. Y'all know I talk about that often. But there's that. I thought that, you know what, I love these graphics. And Pooh Man, shout out to Pooh Man, he's all the time sending me graphics like this in the Discord. Alright. Let me see what y'all are saying. Dan is better than Josh. Yeah, more athletic. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, and shout out to Pooh Man dropping my Discord link again. Before you cook, Chelsea, breaking news. Fuse cat. Yo, I'm not repeating that. I'm not, Derek, you're trying to get me in trouble, okay? I'm not repeating that, okay? I see what happened to Ty Pro with that. Ty Pro didn't Coop kick out Ty Pro for saying some comment like that? I'm not repeating that. But I'm telling you, nothing cracks me up more than him getting that cat, Lazy Bone, the bald cat special. Pause, okay? Pause. I know I need to say pause because y'all can be immature, but I'll never forget. It was like winter time, and he got that cat shaved. Pause. This sounds so bad, but he got Lazy Bone shaved. And I'm just like, Coop, you shaved that cat. Pause. Talking about Lazy Bone, y'all, but you shaved Lazy Bone in the middle of winter. It's like, why would you do that? But I mean, Lazy Bone looks like he's living the life, okay? Yeah, Ty Pro. I mean, I just know that Coop was talking about it. But I don't know for sure if he did get timed out. I mean, I know that he came back into the chat, so it probably wasn't timed out for long, but I'm telling you, I ain't messing with that now. I ain't speaking bad on, Lazy Bone. Okay, let's see, y'all. We got off topic there for a second. Let me get back on track. So we have Mendoza, y'all. Hold on, let's go to this screen. Let me go to the main screen, because I want to give y'all my thoughts on that preseason game with Mendoza for the Raiders against the Texans. Y'all, what have I been saying about that Texans defense? I said that is one of my favorite defenses in the NFL. And the other night, was it last night? I can't keep up. I guess it was last night. But last night, Raiders versus Texans, that proved to me why that defense is my favorite in the NFL. I know the Texans lost by 2 points, but let me tell you, that defense is impressive. Even the fact that that defense performs the way they do and they're not even playing their starters, it's insane. But I've seen Mendoza get hit so many times. I was like, man, he is taking a beating. Maybe I should say pause with that, but he was getting sacked. He had an interception. That game was brutal. That was like a welcome to the NFL moment, I feel like, for Mendoza. And I know people are already critiquing Mendoza versus Ty Simpson. Obviously, Ty Simpson was outstanding. I think Carson Beck's been probably one of my biggest surprises this preseason. But man, Mendoza, I just that offensive line, it's got to be better. And then I feel like he needs to be making better decisions. But let's go ahead and see what this video has to say. I want to say it's from Nightcap. Okay, so let's hear what they have to say. Their thoughts compared to mine.
Hey guys, it's your favorite Uncle here. Go ahead and click that subscribe button below so you don't miss a single episode of Nightcap. That button right here. Come for the sports, stay for the stories.
Okay, you you said Ty has been doing that for a while, I didn't realize Ty has been, or if you're talking about Ty Pro, I didn't realize he's been saying that for a while.
Raiders beat the Texans 22-20. Fernando Mendoza struggled in the second preseason game.
I'm already going to pause this, but the final play, I think, I don't know, 35 seconds on the clock. They were right there at the goal line for the Raiders, and that whole situation reminded me of Texas A&M versus Alabama, and Alabama got a stop on defense. The most impressive, I can't remember which one it was who broke up the pass. Maybe it was Branch, when we had Branch. I can't remember for sure though. But that play, I was like, that's beautiful. So I was getting kind of hyped. I was like, man, maybe the Texans will pull something off. But no. I mean, obviously the Raiders ran the ball. I think they went with a run play and they were able to get it in. Pause. But that last play, that was nice. That was nice. I'm a little bit disappointed that the Raiders made a comeback, but it is what it is. I mean, it's only preseason, right?
An interception that Houston returned for a touchdown. Mendoza's third pass was overthrown. Wade Woodaz returned it 80 yards. Mendoza chased him down, but Woodaz shoved.
Y'all, I have that Woodaz highlight on my shorts if y'all want to check that out.
Side and end up getting into the end zone for an 80-yard pick six. Mendoza in the first half, 8 of 15 for 86 yards. I understand. Look, I understand the interception, and Ocho, you know this. You can't be laid over the middle. You can't be laid outside, because those guys, that's going to the house.
Every time.
Coming at a high rate of speed.
Every time.
So he's going to the house with that. But he made some throws that I'm saying, okay, he has it.
Yeah.
He made some throws that leads me to believe I'm not overly concerned about him. I know it didn't have the best numbers tonight, but he showed me enough in the throws that he did make.
Now, here's where I'm going to have a difference of opinion with Shannon Sharp. So he said that he is not overly concerned with Mendoza. You know, he thinks he has it. Here's where I am going to be concerned, though, and it goes back to what I said before I started the video. That offensive line protecting him. It's like he's not going to have great plays if he's taking hits the way he was. I mean, his decision-making has to be a lot faster. I'm talking Joe Burrow fast if he is going to be attempting to hang on to the ball that long. I mean, you really don't even have time. Like, I gave you all that stat the other day about Burrow, where Burrow gets that ball out in 2.5 to like 4 seconds, I believe the stat was. So Burrow, I mean, he has to be quick. He has no choice but to be fast because of how bad his offensive line collapses. And if that's the same case for what we've seen with Mendoza, he's going to have to be the same way. And I just don't know if a rookie QB can, process that in time. I think it needs to take time for him to develop.
I was like, okay.
You know, and that's what it comes down to, Uncle Joe. When you see a young player, Joe, most of the time you can see a young player on the court, especially when it's live with some of the veterans.
In the building, we're at 123. Y'all, I forgot to, let me go ahead and make sure I change this setting to this.
Hey guys, it's your favorite
it
dunk here.
Always plays back where I had it. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and play Erroneous E's drop. Shout out to Erroneous E in the building. Let me find your drop. Here we go.
Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts?
Oh yeah,
for
I didn't
15.
tell you, Erroneous E. I changed your drop. Erroneous E, I forgot to tell you, but I changed your drop. Let me start it over.
Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts for $15. Brother Chris, it's all about Jalen Hurts because he got a black queen forever, snow bunny never. I like Patrick Mahomes, but he's bunny hopping. I'm going with number one. I'm going with Jalen Hurts. Fly, RBG Eagles fly. I said fly, RBG Eagles fly. Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, shout out to you, Erroneous E. I hope you like your new drop. I hope you like it. All right, back to it, y'all.
Especially when it's live with some of the veterans trying to make a team, and you can see flashes of, okay, you know what, he actually belongs here. Now, what you're also going to see when it comes to a rookie, Joe, you're going to see those mistakes. And that's what you saw from Mendoza tonight. Obviously, he has the arm talent. He can make some of the throws. The problem is it comes down to ball placement. It comes down to anticipating those throws, and it also comes down to processing and understanding that ball has to get out a step sooner.
Yeah.
A tad bit sooner.
Yo, that's everything I just said. Sometimes this is why I want to start giving y'all my thoughts before I let a video play, because it's like I want to see how it matches up to what the professionals are saying, who played the sport, right? That was everything I just said. Everything I just talked about. I said the processing time. I compared it to Joe Burrow. It's going to have to be a lot quicker if his offensive line is collapsing on him like it was last night. And I think it is going to take time for him to develop. You look at who he has, they are planning on starting Kirk Cousins. And I think there's a reason for that, because after what we've seen last night, it shows you he still needs to be developing under a veteran quarterback presence. So I don't read too much into it. I know some people are going to. They're going to write him off. They're going to say, oh, he doesn't have it. Look at that interception he had. Look at the way he was taking sacks. But it's early on. He still has time to develop and improve and get better. So I'm a little bit easy on him. I give him some grace, right?
And he will learn that as time goes on, and he will speed everything up, to be able to rectify those situations. I mean, those errors that he had tonight. But he's going to be one of them ones. This is why I'm always against letting a rookie come in and start, especially on a team that was so bad.
I swear, this is everything I talk about. What do I tell y'all? And Pooh Man of all people knows. I have been saying this for the longest time. My biggest pet peeve is quarterbacks going to horrible teams. That's like my biggest pet peeve. Who did I mention I did not want going to the Arizona Cardinals? It was Ty Simpson. I didn't want Ty Simpson going to the Cardinals. I'm sorry. I didn't. Actually, I'm not sorry. But I did not want Ty Simpson going to the Arizona Cardinals. They got rid of Kyler Murray, so you're going to have no veteran QB present there. They're having coaching changes. Probably with all of that mess, you can assume that they have some organizational issues as a whole, right? But I was like, I don't want him. I don't want him going there. So I'm glad that he went to the Rams where he could develop. But like I said, shout out to Carson Beck. He has been one who has really surprised me. He had an outstanding preseason performance. And of course, they have Jeremiah Love. I know that he had like an ankle sprain or something like that, so he's going to be missing. I think he'll return at the regular season, but they are sitting him out. But that running back that they added, I think that's going to be huge for the Arizona Cardinals. But we'll see what happens with the Arizona Cardinals. But I did not want no rookie QB going to horrible franchises.
So bad last year, where they had the ability to get the number one pick. Yeah. Unless he's lights above everyone else at his respective position. Now, if he was Patrick Mahomes, you know what?
Are you referring to Peyton Manning? Because I know you love Peyton Manning. But are you referring to Peyton Manning? I mean, I don't know if you're referring to Peyton Manning or if you're going to refer to Tom Brady. Sometimes it's up in the air with you, Romeo C. Obviously, I know that Tom Brady didn't start right away, coming out of Michigan. He sat under Drew Bledsoe, and then when Drew Bledsoe went out, he got his start. But I'm curious which quarterback you are referring to.
Cool. Start him as a rookie. You know, because he has the talent, and he has the vision,
so
the ability.
That. You said not even the GOAT was ready directly out of college. He played, but not good. So I think you are referring to Peyton Manning, because didn't he have like really bad interceptions his first year? So I'm pretty sure you might be referring to Peyton Manning.
Process everything much faster and make the players around him better.
Yeah.
You know, if he was one of them, yes, but no.
Yes, especially if he has the area, if he has the talent around him to support him. You got to realize, even though Patrick Mahomes came in, my homeboy didn't start.
Yeah, he didn't. No, yeah. They had Alex Smith.
And think about it, they had Kelsey, they had Reek, that was still there.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think the thing is, I agree with you, Ocho. Joe, what do you want to say about what you saw from Fernando Mendoza?
Man, I like Mendoza. You know, Uncle Ocho, this is the kind of preseason game where, you know, it's a learning curve for all these rookies, bro. He showed some great throws, but when you look at it, it's a huge contrast from his first preseason game to the second one. See, the first one he played against the Cardinals. They don't have a pass rush, the type of defense that the Houston Texans. These boys here ain't playing. Huh? They getting right after you. So I think Mendoza's going to be
one of my favorite defenses. Y'all, whenever I was watching that game, they had a little sideline interview with Will Anderson Jr. Y'all know I love me some Will Anderson Jr. Oh, but yeah, going back to what you said, Erroneous C, you of course were talking about Peyton. I figured. Peyton is the GOAT. Tom Brady ain't nowhere near the GOAT. Okay, Erroneous C.
great. I'm like you. After he threw that pick.
I feel like that's shots fired. That's shots fired to Tom Brady. Let me see. Let's see. Gotta go to my nightcap ones here. Dang, where are they at? Oh, here. It was a little bit lower on the list than what I'm used to. Hey, did it get deleted? Hold on. Y'all, let me look. I'm gonna be so mad if I ended up deleting that. I don't think I did. Maybe I moved it to another one. I have one for shots fired, though. If I don't find it, I'm just going to have to re-add it. Unless I added it to... Yeah, we're just going to re-add it. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it was on the vertical. Maybe I haven't added to the vertical. I just haven't added it to this one. I need to make sure I have everything matching on vertical and on horizontal, because I'm getting a little bit mixed up with what I add now. It ain't no problem though. I'm gonna add it right now, because it's like I gotta have that shots fired one. But I'm pretty sure we played it on horizontal. I think I've played it before on here. Oh, I found I gotta add the you gotta chill one too, now that I think about it. Maybe, I don't even know if I have it loaded on here. Y'all, my apologies. My apologies. I gotta find this, okay? I gotta find where I saved this. Let me... Let me look for this real quick. All right. We get in this shots fired one, okay? Because that one's become one of my favorites.
Sound like he got a drum over there. He got a switch, Ocho.
He got a nice little Tommy gun.
Shots fired. Yeah. Shots fired.
He fired that thing at somebody, Ocho.
That's Rooney C firing shots at Tom Brady, y'all. Okay. And I'm also going to add the you need to chill one. Because I have one from Joe, because Joe likes to say you need to chill. I swear, it's always something. You know, that just reminded me, I need to add the one for Bill O'Reilly. Is that his name, Bill O'Reilly? F it, we do it live. I have it saved, but I want to edit it to where it's like on my football background.
You gotta chill.
Right,
you gotta chill. Whoever said he gotta chill. You gotta chill. You gotta chill. Whoever said he gotta chill. You gotta chill. You gotta chill. Whoever.
I'm honestly wondering if I just didn't save it under something different, but that kind of bothered me, y'all. That kind of bothered me, though, because I'm just like, I thought I had saved that and played it before on horizontal stream. All right, I'm almost done, y'all. I'm almost done. We got the drops added now for that. And I gotta move Shannon Sharp, the nightcap drops. That's gotta be at the top of the list. I have my Stephen A ones and Boozy. So Boozy, Stephen A, and nightcap drops are always at the top of my list because I play those the most often. Now, let me turn my camera back on. There we go. There we go. We back. That was a whole lot of work. A whole lot of work because I had to have that drop. Y'all know how I am. Once I have my mind set on something, I got to get it done right away.
Yeah, he showed me something because he stepped right back in there and got back to it, bro. Mm-hmm. And that's what you want to see from a rookie. I think a pick six is probably one of the worst things that can happen to you as a rookie.
Demoralizing, boy.
You know why, though? Not only do you throw the pick six, but you get the damn ball right back. You know what I mean? So you got to get back out there and get right to it. But I thought he showed some promise. The Texans, hey, man, if C.J. Stroud can stay upright, fellas, he can give them some decent quarterback play.
Man, I seen a video of CJ Stroud's like warm-up technique for his mechanics in football, and it's, I guess, supposed to help improve his recovery time after an interception, just help him get back in the game, like a little bit of hand-eye coordination movement, but he literally sticks his thumb out and like keeps his eyes focused on his thumb, moves it down and up. It's the craziest thing. And I heard Pat McAfee talk about it earlier, and Pat McAfee, he was like, what is this, a DUI test? And you know what? After he said that, I couldn't unsee it. After he said it, I was like, you know what? That kind of is what it looks like. A DUI test strategy.
Boy, they in there.
Hey, honestly, Uncle Joe.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Texans, they have a window. That window was wide open last year. If they could have just got some quarterback play, Joe, I think defensively they might have been ranked second or third in almost every single category. Every single category, which means all we needed was a little bit of, decency offensively from our quarterback. And boy, if you had a chance to get to the Super Bowl, you would have been all right.
Yeah.
Hey. And
and Joe, that last game in the playoffs, what they had, 4-5 turnovers?
Yeah.
It was bad, Ocho.
We had like 3 in the first half.
Oof.
It was bad.
And I think one was a pick 6.
Yeah,
you can't turn the ball over like that.
You can't win like that.
It's hard for you to it's hard no matter how great your defense is, no matter how great one side of the ball is.
Yeah.
If the other side is as inept as you are good, it's kind of hard now. Once upon a time, you could have a bad offense and an outstanding defense.
This is what I talked about. My other live, what did I say? I said you really have to have everything firing on all cylinders. A little bit of a car reference, NASCAR reference, but you really have to have all sides of the ball firing on all cylinders these days. I know, it still can be true that defense wins championships, right? You do need a solid defense. But nowadays, you can't afford to have mistakes on offense. Like, you can really shoot yourself in the foot, as they say. If you have turnovers on offense, the defense can only do so much. The game is so fast now with scoring, depending on who you have as a quarterback and who is your wide receivers, that you can really dig yourself a hole and get behind if you are having a lot of turnovers.
And you could overcome it.
Yeah.
It's always been hard for you to overcome a bad defense even if you had a really great offense. Because when you least expect it, somebody, you struggle just a little bit and you can't stop anybody, and now the opposing team is going up and down the field on you.
Yep.
So it's always kind of been skewed. Well, we need to have an outstanding defense, and we can have a margin. If we can run the football, play defense behind it, be sound in the kicking game, we'll be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't no more. Since they've changed the rules, they don't let you play defense with an intimidation factor like they once did.
Yeah.
That rule no longer holds. But CJ's going to have to be better.
I'm glad he said it, because I've been saying it too. I know people have that older mindset of, man, defense wins championships. And don't get me wrong, you do need a solid defense. But it's like what Shannon Sharp's talking about. That really doesn't apply these days with how outstanding these offenses perform. Like, you used to could get away with having a mediocre offense if you just had an outstanding defense. But now it's like all of them have to be firing on all cylinders. What is up, Auntie A-Team? Let's play your drop. And I see a new face, I believe, in the building. Shout out to you, Arthur. Good to see you here. All right, let's go ahead and play Auntie A-Team's drop. For those of you who are new to the channel, I have drops for my OGs in the chat. So this is what I'm doing currently. I'm looking for Auntie A-Team's drop. Let me find it here. Where is it at on the list? Here we go. Auntie A-Team.
I'm gonna take on the room now. Yeah, A-Team, you tell them.
Shout out to Auntie A-Team. Okay. Back to it, y'all. Back to it.
It's going into his 4th year. Normally, quarterbacks, when they're sure about you going into your 4th year, you know what you get, Joe? $300 million.
Yes, sir.
The mere fact that he's playing this 4th year and he doesn't, they're not where they need to be on him. They're like, okay, we like what we saw the first year. We love what we saw the first year. The second year, the third year, like, You got to show us something. You're going to need to show us something, CJ, in order for us to commit to you
long
the $300 million that you see these other quarterbacks, the Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows, the Trevor Lawrences. You're going to have to show. You're going to have to show us.
Yeah,
that's a lot of because they got big time commitments. The defense, they paid.
Will Anderson
Jr.
Yeah,
they paid the other guy on the other side.
Stingley he's talking about, or Henry Otoa. Otoa and Will Anderson Jr. both played for Alabama, but I'm wondering. I can't remember. I want to say that I seen Otoa got paid.
Yep.
They played Stingley. They played Lazarus Pete. They paid Aziz. They paid a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Hey, he not only got to show something, he got to show consistency, fellas.
Y'all, yes. I'm debating. Should I give my little hot take? Remind me, y'all. Remind me. At the final 2-minute play call, I'm gonna give y'all my stance on everything. So one of the little hot takes that I'll give is my thoughts on CJ Stroud, okay? Where I think it stands with him in the Texans. So I'll cover that at the end.
They need consistent, not just, you play great one game and then 2 games you off. You know what I mean? Like they need that consistent quarterback play. I'm talking about to be able to win a Super Bowl. Like they have the defense for it. They just got to get the quarterback play right, bro. Houston's serious, bro.
Yeah, and they got all the weapons too. They got all the. I know they just lost Higgins, to an ACL injury. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're bringing another veteran presence to come in there and maybe fill that void, because Higgins was a very strong number 2. He came on really.
Receiver issue. Ooh, that's. That always hurts your quarterback when, your reliable wide receiver goes out. I mean, I still think they have offensive weapons, obviously, for the Texans, but it's never easy and never an easy situation.
Strong towards the end of the season last year. So, you got Tank Dell back, who's looked good all camp. Obviously, Nico Collins, one of the better receivers in the NFL. So there really shouldn't be any excuses. You got David Montgomery out there, out there in the backfield now from Detroit to take some of that pressure off of you, being able to run the ball, so you ain't got to sit back there and throw it 60 times a game. So it ain't no excuses. This is their year. Can you be consistent? Not only that, but be consistent when it matters most.
Right.
All the top quarterbacks, they pay them the big bucks for a reason, because when it matters most, they can get us over the hump.
Yeah. Hey, y'all ain't gonna Mendoza gonna be all right, because y'all know he got a decent run game. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing about Mike Washington Jr. breaking.
I never thought about Mendoza as having a decent run game.
Yards, 9 carries. He broke that.
He played well. Yeah.
He played well the first game.
He played Joe. That number 30.
Is he number 30? I think he is number 30.
Right,
Might run back. Yeah,
number 30.
Speaking of Mendoza taking hits, right? Let's get into Tua again, y'all. I know I don't have it on the list, but last minute I found Pat McAfee talking about Tua, and I was like, okay, I gotta recover this topic, because I'm telling you, that was I don't even know if I have words for it. A trophy? No. Interesting. I'm just going to say that was interesting with Tua, okay?
Okay, let's go to NFC South, shall we? Because we talked about Herbert a little bit there and McDaniel. So obviously there's a third member of this conversation that needs to be talked about. It's fascinating. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, there is a third member. We also talked about turnovers as well, so you throw that in there. Tua is who we are talking about.
All right. Let me make sure I have it on the setting, because I already know I'm going to have a little meme to play when it comes to covering Tua Tagovailoa, okay?
Okay, let's go to NFC South, shall we? Because we talked about Herbert a little bit there.
Tua is who we are talking about. Reports at what?
Just you added that turnover.
No way
you could have.
You didn't have to do that
we
to
were just
Tua.
we were just talking, and things happen. Reports out of joints in the first preseason game were not really great down in Atlanta with Tua at quarterback. We know Penix is practicing. He's doing 7-on-7, nothing team yet. I believe he met with a doctor yesterday to see if he can be cleared now. What are your thoughts on the Falcons' offense? Because we know they have weapons and their offensive line is good. How is Tua and his Penix is doing 7-on-7 enough to be ready for the regular season?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
You have to at least get real 11-on-11 reps in practice, let alone not having them in any type of, preseason game. I would expect Michael Penix to play this year. For him to go out on the field without any type of real live action.
Dan Orlowski is saying that he expects Penix to be playing. And after what we've seen with Tua, you would have to assume that's going to be the case.
Is going to be challenging. I would expect Tua to be the starter just because of the circumstances.
Tua, I thought he was saying that Penix would end up playing. I mean, isn't Penix out for injury? I don't know the timeline with that. But that quarterback situation with the Falcons, I don't know how long Tua will last as a starter. If he has a consistent, performance as what he did in that one game, he's not going to last. Like, they are going to bench him. They will say this to Tua.
Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired. Get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired.
It was sloppy. Preseason week 1 was sloppy by everyone. Tua was sloppy, dropping snaps. The ball couldn't get out of his hand quick enough. I think Tua probably has about...
Get it back to this one setting, because I think that's why it's like freezing right now.
Okay, let's go to NFC South,
all right,
shall we? Because we talked about her.
I think Tua probably has about as little desire to get hit as possible. I don't blame him. It looks like that in his play. I've heard it sounds like that and looks like that in some of these camp practices and joint practices. And so I think Atlanta's in a situation where, they've got a quarterback that has been through a lot that doesn't necessarily want to get touched by the defense much. And they got another young, talented guy that hasn't been able to stay on the field. And
you know what?
I would say this,
Tua has never struck me as somebody who's afraid of taking hits. I promise you that, because ever since watching him in college, he's never been the type of guy to give up on a play. So I don't think the hits are clearly an issue for Tua Tagovailoa. If that was the case, he wouldn't have been doing what he was doing at Miami, okay? But that guy has never struck me as someone afraid of taking hits. I think it just looked more like he was hanging on to the ball too long. He wasn't having quick decision making in the pocket. Like, he wasn't getting the ball out in time. Like, it was not good. So I think the football IQ with Tua is not what it once was.
I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't.
Same.
But there's probably a minimum of 4 to 6 teams that we could already right now in October 21 or whatever it is tell you they're looking at quarterback for 2020. And I firmly think Atlanta's in that conversation.
It's August.
Did you say October 21?
Yeah. They're going to be
August,
awesome.
It's almost Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, if we can write this down in October, I mean, it'll be a little different because we'd already seen a bunch of games. But
you're a clown.
You're saying you're so locked in and saying that, hey, there's like 6 teams that we can publicly state that everybody would kind of agree with us that they have no chance of winning Lombardi. Now, in their locker room,
I wonder which teams he's referring to. For me, top of the list, Jets. I would go Miami, Falcons. But as far as other teams, I don't know. Like, I don't know which other teams would have QB questions. Let me see. Would you put Texans on the list, I guess, if, you know, Stroud doesn't perform well? I don't know. Like, maybe Dallas you could put on the list because Dak is getting older. They are going to need another quarterback, but it's starting to look like Milton has really won over a lot of the fans. So I'm thinking that, you know, it'll be a similar situation where, you know, Tony Romo, he was out, it passed on to Dak Prescott. I think if something like that happens with Dak Prescott, it will then pass over to Milton. But I mean, top of the list, of course, is Jets, Miami, and the Falcons. And I guess maybe you could put, I don't know, Cardinals. I'm up in the air about the Cardinals just because I thought Carson Beck looked really great. But, I mean, that's still up in the air. Of course, that's just preseason. I would have to see more games, especially, you know, as a starter for Carson Beck before I'm saying that they need another quarterback. But anyways, that's my thoughts on that. What is up, 3 a.m.? Good to see you in the building. We are at 2:38. Let's play 3 a.m.'s drop. I gotta remember I'm at 2:38, okay? Because I don't have it on that one setting anymore. 3 a.m. Let's find your drop. Shout out to you. Y'all go subscribe to 3 a.m. He does great work on bringing awareness to adoption and showing you the truths of what really goes on with adoption. You know, it's not all flowers and rainbows and sunshine with adoption, okay? There's some real stories, like, you would not believe what goes on with adoption. But make sure you check out 3 a.m. and Precious over at 3 a.m. Adoptee Voices. Okay, here we go. Let's play his drop now. Shout out to you, 3 a.m. Y'all, we have the International Quiet Storm in the building. He said, check my Cash App. Y'all know I'm bad for that. I will check the Cash App. Let's play your drop, International Quiet Storm.
Hey, man, say, man, word of the day, man. One bitch, two bitch, old bitch, new bitch. I ain't fucking with no hoe that don't do shit. All you tired ass hoes, always asking for food, ain't never in the mood, bitch, fuck you. It's pimping, hoe. Fuck you talking.
Oh, hey, man. Shout out to the International Quiet Storm. And speaking of that, let's go to the money drop, y'all, because he is now our playmaker for today's show. Let me add his name real quick, y'all. Gotta add his name, and then we'll play the drop for the MVP of the show, the playmaker, the International Quiet Storm. All right, there we go. Now let's play this money drop. Which one is it? One more time for the International Quiet Storm, y'all. All right, shout out to you, International Quiet Storm.
Okay, let's go to NFC South, shall we? Because we talked about
Herbert. Pooh Man, do you remember? I think I was at 238. Y'all, I'm surprised I even remember that. But shout out to the International Quiet Storm. He sent me. He actually sent me this emoji, the shades and the thumbs up emoji. But shout out to the International Quiet Storm for supporting the show and being the playmaker today. All right, y'all. We also have Big Natty in the building. Big Natty, I gotta play your drop too. Okay, again, we're at 238. I gotta remember this. I'm surprised they even remembered it that one time. Let me play Big Natty's drop.
Come on, Clint! Oh. God!
He's still down there. Still there. Yep, he just come up and wrecked the hell out of you again on purpose.
Y'all have it going. That's it. That's why I don't take this shit serious.
Sorry, Tyler. Just trying to talk to you there.
Peace out!
Shout out to Big Natty. Oh yeah, and shout out to you, Big Natty, because you got second place in that one race. So shout out to that. We also have D Money in the building. Shout out to D Money. Y'all know Coop was talking about coleslaw earlier. I'm starting to think that Coop he has listened in on our coleslaw conversation.
Oh, and can you bring my coleslaw on a separate plate? I hate it when it touches my bread.
Well, Scott, on the topic of coleslaw,
we're on television.
Your name is mud in these parts.
I'm
Tell
well
the people
aware.
what your deal is with the coleslaw.
I don't want it on a sandwich. It's not on the sandwich. When you say don't put it on the sandwich, they go, it comes on the sandwich. And I say, not if you don't put it on the sandwich. And then they look at me like I'm not the one paying for the sandwich. Just don't put it on the sandwich. How hard is this? I'm not being the jerk here. I'm really not.
You know what? I'm telling you, I got one for Coop when Coop comes into the chat, but I'm going to start using that second one that I have for D-Money too as Coop's also. Anyways, let's keep it going because he has another one about coleslaw.
Listen. I always tell people, listen, if you guys have never been, I didn't realize this was a Carolina thing. I promise we'll get to some sports talk. We got to talk some food, man. Slaw dogs. I don't know if you guys have ever had them. I don't know if it's really big. I don't think it's as big outside of the Carolinas. But a good old-fashioned slaw dog, man, is a hot dog with chili, onions, mustard, and slaw. And we have a place called Rush's, which is right down the road from Jimmy's Mart. Jimmy's Mart is a gas station. But it's one of those places, you know, these old southern gas stations that have the breakfast and the food spot inside. It's one of those. But I just grew up going there. I used to go there and get breakfast. You get cheese, grits, eggs, all that stuff. But they also had the slaw dogs. But it was crazy because, like, when I got to Alabama, because I was born and raised in South Carolina, I didn't live anywhere else. I was like, man, like, nobody has slaw dogs around here. And I would be asking people, they'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? I think they thought it was just like a hot dog with only slaw. I'm like, no, man, you got to throw everything on it. You know, it's a whole deal. But anyway, I guess.
Shout out to Christian, my friend Christian, who played for Alabama, y'all. But yeah, he knows what we talking about with the coleslaw here in the Carolinas. I guess maybe it's like, you know, big in the Carolinas. Anyways, let's go back to the
Okay, let's go to NFC South, shall we? Because we talked about Herbert a little bit there and McDaniel. So obviously there's a
look who's in the building. Oh, wait, we have another show sponsor, y'all. We have another show sponsor. Shout out to Mr. Ray. Okay, y'all, gotta go back to it. I ain't mad at it. Let's go. I promise we'll finish the video eventually, okay? But we got to acknowledge the playmakers of the show. Because we now have to add Mr. Ray's name to the list. Shout out to Mr. Ray. Let's play this drop for Mr. Ray, y'all. One more time for Mr. Ray. All right.
Okay, let's go to NFC South, shall we?
Hold on,
talked
Mr. Ray, I'm not seeing it. Maybe it'll take time to, you know, pop up, but I'm not seeing your Cash App just yet. Hopefully it's the right one, okay? Hopefully you got the right one. But shout out to you, Mr. Ray. Oh, you asked me, what's the Cash App? Okay. You were asking the question of what's the Cash App. But shout out to you. Shout out to you for asking. I put your name in there, okay? I already got that out of the way. Once I get the Cash App, though, if you send one in, I will acknowledge you once more, okay? All right, y'all, let's get back to it. Where was that at, Pooh Man? 238. Thank you, Pooh Man. My greatest mod in the YouTube streets. There we go.
That everybody would kind of agree with us that they have no chance of winning Lombardi. Now, in their locker room, that's on them to do that. But it does feel like Atlanta is in the middle of an interesting time. Matt Ryan, obviously in charge late. Stefanski brought in his first year. No real loyalty, really, seemingly, to whatever other than Bijan Robinson, who they just paid. They got some good defensive players as well, right?
Yeah, young rookies. So, couple injuries and suspensions, but yeah, last year they were very good at rookie.
That one suspension that Atlanta Falcons have, y'all know that whole mess.
On defense.
So it's like
they've paid all their offensive pieces. Bijan, Drake, and Kyle Pitts.
And O-line.
And how many?
Two rookies are hurt and one suspended, though.
Yeah.
So how many years, are they thinking in this new Matt Ryan era? Because obviously that's a huge change taking place where he is now the president of football.
I mean, if they're already counting themselves out right now, they might be eyeing, hey, with this incoming draft class next year that's supposed to be one of the best ever, maybe we kind of just punt this year and we get like an Arch Manning or something, and then we go.
Well, that would
All right, think about it like this. Just realistically, Tua starts the year and it's almost similar to Cleveland. He starts the year and he's playing okay. They're doing okay as a team. And you get to late October, early November. Are we having a conversation about a contract extension? Given kind of what, and he's playing okay. It's not elite ball.
2 and 3.
The history.
2 and 3. Maybe 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, Dan. I don't know about that.
And it's like okay, well, and with his history, that realistically, it has to be a part of the conversation. The same with Michael Penix. You get to a point where Michael Penix starts, and again, he's playing okay, and the team's doing okay. Are we putting a ton of money into that? And hopefully, Tua's gotten a ton of cash, so God bless him. Hopefully, Michael Penix gets into a situation where he can. But I just think from an organizational, are we really confident in doing that? And I think the same could be said in Cleveland, where you're like, all right, Deshaun starts and Deshaun plays okay. That's going to be a really big question mark for them. Is like, all right, are we going to do that again?
And they probably have their eyes on the future. Not that they're thinking about the next draft class, because they probably have.
I think the ones with the most, I don't know. There's a few teams that I have on my list for probably the most questionable QB situation right now. Maybe we'll get into that at the end of the show.
But so let's not act like that's something that's not already happening out of the ordinary. But I think they both have reprieve, right? Todd Monken's first year.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And Stefanski's first time, they both have. And Matt Ryan, I think that's a big deal.
Yes.
This is Matt Ryan and Stefanski's first year in there. Okay,
100%.
This is their first year in there. They're trying to learn and figure out what is going and what is not going with them. And
I don't know. I just feel like with Tua, a veteran quarterback should not look like that. That's all I'm saying. I just don't think a veteran quarterback should be making horrible decisions the way Tua was. That QB IQ, that wasn't it. That was not it whatsoever.
Gets in there whenever he gets healthy and plays. Maybe Tua figures it out.
Yeah.
Maybe Tua figures it out.
I doubt it. Football, man. He's played good.
I hope
scored 70 points.
But with Tua, he has to have the right offensive scheme. Look at what you had with McDaniels whenever he was under McDaniels at Miami. McDaniels, and it's been heavily talked about that McDaniels had to really adjust that offense to fit the way Tua played. I talk about it all the time. You play to a QB's strengths, not his weaknesses. And that's exactly what McDaniels did. He played to Tua's strengths, and he had Tua looking outstanding. I want to say it was 2023 was one of Tua's best seasons before everything went south. But that that is an unfortunate situation. I didn't agree with Miami getting rid of McDaniels. I thought they should have hung on to him, but anyways, it is what it is. Shout out to Mr. Ray. Let's see what you said in the Cash App. And I will play that sound drop once again for our show playmakers, which is the International Quiet Storm and Mr. Ray. So one more time for them, okay? And we are done with this video. We're done with the video, y'all, okay? All right, back to it. And shout out to Mr. Ray. He said to support the channel. Shout out to that. You know, I talk about it all the time, but it always feels good when y'all believe in me. You believe in what I do. You believe in the show. Hey, started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Shout out to you who just subscribed to the show. Man, y'all making my day today. Y'all be some playmakers, I'm telling you. Hitting the Cash App, subscribing to the channel. Well, we making some moves on the YouTube field, as I like to say. We getting them first downs. But anyways, back to it. When y'all like the show and you believe in it and you support me by either hitting the Cash App or subscribing, that means a lot to me. Like, that really motivates me to keep going. But let's continue on, y'all. We have more to get into. Let's go ahead and get into the Bengals discussion, y'all. Joe Burrow had some words.
Hey guys, it's your favorite Unk here. Go ahead and click that subscribe button below so you don't miss a single episode of Nightcap. That button right here. Come for the sports, stay for the stories. Y'all in trouble. Joe Burrow spoke to the media today and said it's now or never for the Bengals. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Trying to put it out. I'm trying to put it out into the world. I'm trying to manifest it. I'm trying to show our guys the urgency that I have and that I want us to have as an organization to go and make it happen. You know, you can keep pushing it down the road, or you can talk about it now and say this is the year. And you know, I'm tired of saying next year. This is it. You know, your life is too short to keep pushing things down the road, and I'm trying to instill some urgency and some intensity in everybody to go and be great every day and try to go make it happen.
I like that.
Before they get into it, let me just say I did add this as a short. I added what Joe Burrow had to say in that clip. I added it as a short if y'all want to go check that out. I also added what Jamar Chase had to say as well. So I have two shorts on that. But let me just say that I think it's been very clear that Joe Burrow is making this a now or never situation for the Bengals. I feel like he's made that clear. And I'll tell you why I say that. You look at some of the things he said at the start of, you know, last season, at the end of last season, getting injured again, you know, just looking defeated and fed up with everything, to be honest. And now he's saying this. It's just like little things have been adding up to where he's putting pressure on the Bengals. He has definitely put some urgency on that team. And this is why they went out and they made moves that, you know, with the offensive line, y'all, that offensive line's looking questionable. That's all I'm going to say. But, you know, they did get deals done with the offensive line. You added pieces on your defense. You brought in Jonathan Allen. So I feel like, you know, the Bengals did that in their best effort to try to satisfy Joe Burrow. But I still think Joe Burrow is making it very clear that this is now or never. If they do not get it done this season, if it does not improve this season, I think he's out. I really believe that Joe Burrow is out. After seeing that, it's very questionable with where it will end up if things don't go right with the Bengals this season. Just Sports, what is up? You said, I call bull. He also said recently he wasn't sure he even wanted to continue playing the game because they keep having disappointing seasons. Can't have any player on the team like that. Now, that is the interview that I am referring to, where he looked, fed up with everything, and rightfully so. I really think Joe Burrow had every right to be fed up with the Bengals. You get injured like he has, and you have the talent that he has, I would be fed up too. It's like, what is the point of me staying here if y'all are not going to protect me and keep me healthy to play the game? So I think he had every right to say what he said. In my opinion, he's one of probably the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL alongside Patrick Mahomes. But I don't hate on him for his thoughts with that. I don't. I mean, I agree with him. If I was in his shoes, you got to put yourself in his shoes. If I had the talent that he had and I was taking hits, I would probably, be putting some pressure on the Bengals. So that's just my thoughts on that. Despite the talent, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Dak's expected to get it done. Lamar is expected to get it done. Why does Burrow get a hall pass? That's, you know what, Just Sports, that's, a good take. I'm not going to lie, that's a good take. But I feel like the reason why Joe Burrow gets the pass is because there's clear talent there. It would be different. It'd be a different situation if we were talking about a quarterback who is not talented, right? But because of his talent, people overlook the situation. They don't put that all on Joe Burrow because they know the offensive line is atrocious. And did I say that right? Atrocious? Y'all, clap it out. Chelsea, clap it out. It's been one of them days, y'all. 105, we're at 105. This is exactly why I have this here.
Clap it out, clap it out, clap it out.
Can't say atrocious. I don't know why I was struggling with that word.
Hey guys, it's your favorite
I
on
was.
here.
Anyways, that offensive line ain't it. And I'm telling you, they got to do better. And this is why Jamar Chase even said what he said. If y'all go check out my recent short, Jamar Chase was like, I don't care what we do, but we better protect Joe Burrow. We better protect our quarterback. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that you need to do better with keeping him healthy because of his talent. And I feel like that's why he gets the pass that he gets.
I'm gonna take it as a way. For one, is as I think how you would look at it. Like, listen, organizationally, this is the warning. This is the warning. And he said it last year too when he was frustrated as well. Something similar to this, but the words were a little different. But words have meaning always. It's like a puzzle. Sometimes you got to piece together what players are trying to say. What he can also be doing is motivating those in that locker room, not only offensively but defensively. He can be doing that. And to take it a step further, he's also adding more fuel to the fire on himself as well.
Yeah.
Because of the injuries, So now, as much as I love Joe Burrow, that's my quarterback, Joe. That's my quarterback, Unc. But now, not only are you adding more fuel to the fire, now you have to play up the par consistently week in and week out. Yes, you're going to have mistakes. Yes, you're going to have errors. It's a part of the game. Yeah. But you have to play up and beyond week in and week out and be the reasons why we're winning games, which you have been in the past. Along with the supporting cast.
I didn't think about that, but there is going to be some heavy eyes on Joe Burrow. Imagine if he does not perform well. Imagine if that offensive line steps up, the defense steps up, but Joe Burrow struggles. If he struggles, that's not going to be good. Y'all, that's not going to be good. I hope Joe Burrow does great. I really do. Because after Ocho said that, I'm just like, wow, you know, that puts it a little differently. That puts some pressure on it now. Because Joe Burrow, and this goes back to what Joe Sports, shout out to Joe Sports, but this is, you know, exactly what he's talking about. Like, why does Joe Burrow get a pass? And I said, you know, it's because of his talent. But if he does not perform well, all eyes are going to be on him. All eyes are going to be on him.
But I think the continuous, it's not lashing out, it's just expressing yourself and answering questions that are asked to you through the media, is it adds more pressure, unnecessary pressure, not on just the team in general, because that pressure's already there no matter what, but also yourself. Because anytime you don't play well, anytime you don't play up to par, they're gonna go right back to these videos and some of the things that are said. Well, you said this, but you're playing like that.
Same thing with Dak Prescott. Look at all the hype that has gone on with the Dallas Cowboys and that offense. If Dak Prescott does not perform well, they're going to be on his case. I'm telling you. That's why I just don't like hyping up an offense or, you know, a defense, hyping it all up just to have it crumble. It's like, I prefer let your actions do the talking. Let your plays on the field do the talking when your cleats hit the turf. Don't be just speaking before you can even show action behind it. I can't get behind it. What is up, Jesse? Good to see you in the building.
Yep. I think the thing is, Ocho, is that, look, you played with a quarterback that says, you know what, I'm tired of y'all. Y'all won't do right. I refuse to play here anymore.
Hey, Joe, he retired. He said he refused to come back and retire, Joe. Until they what? Carson, until they gave, did they have to give up his rights?
They traded him. Yeah, they traded him.
Yeah, until they traded him. He refused to come back.
Was that bad? Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, it was bad. Joe, you thought I was lying when I said I only had one winning season?
No, I know it got to be bad. Hey, Joe Burrow, he's sick of losing, bro. He want his team to reach his expectations.
I need to go back and rewatch some games with Ocho. I would like to go back to that Bengals team because the way he talks about that team, how bad they were losing, it's like I need to go back and see how bad it really was, because it's amazing that he even had the career that he had with how badly that team was.
He understands that, you know, they have a small window with their wide receiving core that he has out there. He want to try to make the most of it, bro. I can see the frustration in his face. I can hear it in his voice. He want to win, Uncle Ocho.
Yeah.
He tired of talking about it.
Hell, I want to win too, Joe. I'm not even
things with this, right? Like, I see it on both sides, because I've also heard talks about Joe Burrow when it comes to, well, the Bengals made bad decisions, like, you know, the organization, they made bad decisions paying the wide receivers, you know, what they did. They gave a lot of their money to the wide receivers. They didn't have money for the offensive line. But now we're getting to a situation where it's like, okay, that can no longer be the excuse. Like, maybe at the start, but now you're getting to a point where that cannot be the excuse anymore. And that's why they did what they did this offseason, to try to have their best effort to please Joe Burrow.
You know, I want us to win, you know. But I know one thing, we're not the laughing stock that we once used to be.
Jesse, I talked about this earlier, but you asked me, Chelsea, shouldn't Dallas go ahead and get a future QB in 2027? The 2027 draft, since a lot of good stock, since they have, you know, a good QB draft class, supposedly this upcoming 2027 draft class. But here's my thoughts on that. I said that I don't know if Dallas will get a quarterback now, because it just seems like the fans are really rallying behind Milton. I've seen such positive talks with the fan base on Milton that I kind of feel like it's going to be a situation that you've seen with Tony Romo, right? So Tony Romo, Drew Bledsoe goes out because of an injury, and then you have Tony Romo stepping up, right? Well, then what happened with Tony Romo? He gets injured. Who steps up? Dak Prescott. I feel like that might be what happens with Dak Prescott and Milton now. But we can get more into that at the end of the show. My final, 2-minute drill. And I can give more thoughts on that. But that's kind of what I've been talking about. That's where I stand on it.
We're a good team.
We ain't laughing now, Joe. We chuckling.
We chuckling, yeah. We, but it all comes down to not only injuries. Our defense, it was atrocious. Uncle Joe, I think statistically last year we might have been damn near at 28th in almost every category,
now,
stopping the pass.
You said personally, I just think that if you are surrounded by talent, there's no excuse. You're set up for success. QBs with less surrounded talent get more criticism than those playing with a full deck. Here's what I will say to that. I don't know if Joe Burrow has that full deck. Look at that offensive line. Look at how it's collapsed on him. Look at the defense. The defense wasn't the greatest. And we've even talked about this in the past. If you go back and you look at that the Super Bowl run team that they had, where they went against, who did they play? They played against the Rams in that Super Bowl. Obviously they lost, but even with that, they did not have a great defense, and that offensive line wasn't the best either. And he was able to make something shake out of it, but it's a lot worse than what it was even with that. So I'm not saying that he has to have the greatest to make something work, because he has proven that he can, make it work with a defense that I believe that it was ranked 28th. That defense for the Bengals, the year they went to the Super Bowl, it was like 28th. But he has shown that he can have, not the best and still get something done. But lately, that hasn't been the case. Like, they can't even keep him healthy on the field because he's constantly having to escape the pocket, make plays on the run. He's taking unnecessary hits. So there's just a lot to that. So I don't know if he's had the full deck that he needs the past few seasons, but supposedly, the way he's talking, they have it this upcoming season. But he's definitely putting pressure behind it.
Stopping the run, like everything. So maybe this is the year. We made the necessary improvements. Management showed Joe that they are taking it serious and trying to turn this thing around and give you a
this. We talk about the offense, right? The offensive line collapsing, how that offensive line has looked. We talked about the defense. But another thing that you mentioned is poor coaching. Who is on the hot seat this upcoming season? I believe his name's Zach Taylor. Is that the Bengals head coach? But he's on the hot seat, y'all.
Team, to win, that big dance. So now that they've done their part,
I was like, what do you mean?
Defensively,
I was getting the Joes mixed up. Talking about Joe Burrow, but you're talking about ISO Joe. He is wearing, nightcap. I think that's like his little thing where, the show's nightcap and he ends up wearing a nightcap. It's funny.
What they've done, now you got to put up. Now it's your turn.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn. So now the pressure is on you. So all Mike Brown did was say, you know what? Okay, I heard you loud and clear. So this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you Dexter Lawrence. I'm going to give you Brother Allen over there from the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you Mr. Cook over there from the Chiefs.
Yep.
With the pieces we already have defensively. Very good young talent. Demetrius Knight. Boy, I love you, boy. I need a jersey too when I see you. Now, the onus is on you. We made our play. They playing chess. Your move. And this season is the move. And now you come out and you say some of the things you said today, which can be cryptic, and which can be taken any kind of way. Most of the talking heads are those that actually know the game. Yourself. I heard Dan Orlovsky, he said, this message says, get it together. Either we win or I'm out. That's how y'all gonna take it. I'm gonna take it multiple ways. Being that I was a player.
Knowing how Joe Burrow is, like he says some things and he knows what he's doing. He's playing games with the media, but you just have. To me, this is where I'm taking it for what it is, because he's had multiple interviews like this. It's not just this one, right? We talked about the one where he said that if he wants to continue playing the game, something has to change. Something has to improve and get better. Because he cannot keep, getting taken out of the game due to injuries, right? And now you have him saying this. I'm taking it for what it is, okay? But I do know that Joe Burrow has in the past been known for messing with the media, saying things just to get the media talking, and then, turning around being like, listen, y'all are the ones that took that out of context. I didn't mean it like that.
See, I'm kind of siding with my team in general, because that is my quarterback.
Hey,
but
Ocho might be biased, y'all. He might be a little bit biased when it comes to this. We're at 5:36. Oh, wrong screen, y'all. But he might just be a little bit biased when it comes to his team.
That's just me. Maybe I'm biased a little bit. Maybe I'm biased a lot of bit. But who cares for this discussion? Hey guys, it's your favorite on here.
All right. We're at 5:36. That's just him. Who cares for this discussion?
Ways, being that I was a player, obviously I'm kind of siding with my
bonnet. No, you know what a nightcap is. Haven't you ever seen the cartoon Scooby-Doo? Like the classic old Scooby-Doo where you've seen Shaggy wearing the little nightcap in some of those episodes. That's what it reminds me of, if I'm being honest with you. Joe needs a classic t-shirt of Shaggy wearing a nightcap.
In general, because that is my quarterback. But I think it's unwanted pressure that he's putting on himself, because they're going to use these videos, they're going to use these messages when things don't go well. Specifically from him when he doesn't play well.
Yeah.
So
but for the most part, he's held up his end of the bargain. The only thing that he hadn't been able to hold up is his injuries. And he said, "I get injured because the sorry ass offensive line y'all put around me."
See, that's why I keep. The offensive line has consistently been an issue. You said, so to your point, the O-line was poo in the bowl, but that defense was fire. Yeah, I didn't say the defense was horrible. Or did I say it? I don't even remember. I mean, I know right now that defense, okay, so just so we're clear, that defense lately has been horrible, and that's why they added some, different pieces, like adding Jonathan Allen, and even Derek has spoke on that defense needed some improvement, right? And I've heard other analysts mention this as well. But the defense, when it comes to that Super Bowl team, I need to look at where they ranked, because I want to say it was either the offense or the defense ranked 28th, but I can't remember which one. Let's do some research, y'all. Let's do some research, because I'm curious where the Bengals ranked on defense. What year was that? I don't even remember. 2022? Yeah, okay. Where was the defense ranked? Because I want to say that was not the best defense, okay? See, okay, so that defense, it wasn't outstanding. They still ranked 18th. So you still had way better defenses than what the Bengals had. So that's why I'm saying, Joe Burrow has proven that he can do great things with a not so great offensive line or a not so great defense. He don't need you to be the best, but he does need you to bring something to the table, and he has not had that since that Super Bowl run, right? So that's my thing. It's like, of course it doesn't have to be the best, but you at least need to give him something. You need to at least have a defense ranked 18th. You at least need an offensive line that's ranked 28th. I mean, you got to give him something, because it cannot continue to go the way it has been. What is up, DT Hope? Good to see you in the building. Y'all go subscribe to DT Hope, okay? He covers a little bit of everything, including sports.
Getting injured. I don't get injured. It's not like I'm running and getting injured. I'm getting injured hitting the pocket.
Yeah.
So y'all offer me some better protection, and I think, look, I agree with you, Ocho, that the Bengals did. They went out there and they tried to revamp the offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at Zach Taylor, he's playing these guys in the preseason, because in the past they didn't play in the preseason. Even if they're only getting a series or so, that's something. That's something. Had the guys going out there, they after, basically, if you don't play an entire preseason, man, I keep telling people, man, practice is practice. You get in game shape by playing in the game.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. And we're gonna hey, Joe does not want to be. He's like, what people think about him, even though he hasn't won a championship. A lot of he's a top 5 quarterback on everybody's list. He's top 5
easily.
The last thing he wants to have happen, Ocho, is that he goes his career and he doesn't have a championship. He's like, I've been there. I know, because once you get to that level, what are we actually playing for if we're not trying to get to that level every single year?
Right.
It's not good enough for Patrick Mahomes to win the division. It's not good enough for him. If he's not playing for Super Bowl, what are we doing? When you go to 5,
that's what I'm saying. It's like, if he's not playing for a Super Bowl, what are the Bengals doing? Because you cannot have a talented quarterback like that and let it go to waste. And that's kind of heartbreaking to me, to see how talented Joe Burrow is and see, other quarterbacks around the league like Troy Aikman speak so highly of Joe Burrow, talking about his talent. Like, I think one of the most outstanding things that I've heard that I agree with from Troy Aikman was when he said on the Kelsey Brothers podcast that Joe Burrow is the type of quarterback who could have played in any era, because he adapts so well to no matter what different offensive scheme you put him in. He is an adaptable quarterback, and it doesn't take him a long time compared to other quarterbacks to process information. So that just speaks volumes to his talent. So it's just an unfortunate situation with the Bengals, having a quarterback with that much talent and then not being able to, get it done with the Super Bowl. And I really wanted that for him. I really wanted the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. I remember my dad actually picked the Rams. Y'all, I'll have to show you screenshots. I still have me and my dad's conversation with that. But Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, they would score a touchdown, and I would be texting my dad, "Did you see that?" And then he said, "No, I had my eyes closed." And I was like, "Oh, all right, I see how it is." Well, then it was, I think, Matthew Stafford to, was it Cooper Kupp or somebody? I can't remember who it was. And then he was like, "Did you see that?" And I said, "Nope, I have my eyes closed." But I wanted that so bad for Joe Burrow, and it didn't work out. And I talk about with, Josh Allen, maybe he's just one of those quarterbacks that's, really talented that never wins a Super Bowl. Could that be the case for Joe Burrow? I really hope not. Because I'm just like, everything he's accomplished, I would hate to see that. I would hate to see that for Joe Burrow.
Your first 7 years, what we doing?
That's different, man. It don't happen like that, bro.
No, but when you set that expectation, when you've done this, because the expectation that you've already accomplished, you put that expectations on yourself. Tom Brady expected after he went to, think about it, his second year, he wins MVP. So now what's the expectation? Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
That relentless pursuit. That's why, Ocho, you was there. That's all. If you weren't trying to get better to get to and win a Super Bowl, you couldn't play for Coach Belichick.
Because he expects
everything
too
was
much.
about situations.
Yeah.
He put you as many situations that he thought could potentially arise in the game.
Y'all, that is the truth. If you go watch some of his behind-the-scenes clips of what the Patriots did, a lot of the coaching was under situational football, where you have them running different types of scenarios of what could happen in a game. He really educated them on every scenario possible to cover anything and everything. And that's speaking volumes to Coach Belichick during that time, because he had that team really well prepared. And I know that Erroneous C, shout out to Erroneous C, I know he was, talking about Deflategate and all of that, the cheating stuff. Even if that were to be true, you got to give it to the Patriots for finding those loopholes to get away with certain things, if it is true that they were cheating, right? But, you can't discredit his coaching, for Belichick. I know at the end it was shaky, but how many years, with Tom Brady and everything they were able to accomplish? What Shannon Sharp's saying, that's the truth.
So therefore, when it does arise, you're not in awe of the moment. You don't panic in the moment. You don't freeze in the moment.
And I want to add this too, going back to the situational football. Belichick, obviously he had his team prepared for, whatever situation. Nick Saban, y'all know they were together at the Browns, and they're, they've been good friends, but Nick Saban, he was someone who was big on situational football at Alabama. And I remember it was Alabama versus Auburn, and it came down to the last play of the game, and Milroe threw a dime of a pass that dropped to, I believe, Isaiah Bond before he transferred to Texas, but shout out to Isaiah Bond. But he caught the pass that Alabama ended up winning the game, but it was said that that was just a situational play. That was a play that they run in practice for a scenario of if that situation was to happen, and that paid off for them. That's why you really need to go through the importance of situational football.
Oh man, I'm ready for football season.
I know you're gonna be ready
because I know it's gonna be plastered on every TV tomorrow morning. Everything he just said, everybody gonna have their take on what it means, and hey, it's gonna be negative. It's some gonna be positive. It's a good thing, We trying to motivate the players inside the locker room. Trying to motivate my offensive players.
I think I've burned this bridge into the ground. I'm done covering this topic with the Bengals, but I do have a video that Derek sent me, y'all. So let's watch this video. I'm not gonna be like Coop, y'all. I'm not gonna be like Coop, where if the video sucks, I'm timing somebody out. Maybe I should start doing that, but not today. I'm not doing that today. Y'all know I'm a little bit sensitive. I'm a little bit tender-hearted. I try to be kind to others. So I'm not going to time Derek out if this sucks.
How many times can one team waste a championship caliber offense before something
Holy
finally...
cow! Right off the bat, Derek, this is awesome. Derek, this is exactly everything that we've been talking about. Everything that we just got done discussing is what this video starts off with. Y'all, I can already tell I'm gonna like it. Shout out to Derek for dropping this in the Discord.
Changes.
And they've just been ass. And everybody that saw the way they built their team going into the season says, yeah, it's almost as if every football person told you that's not how you can actually win football games in football, especially in 2025.
4 years after coming within minutes of winning the Super Bowl, the Cincinnati Bengals have become the NFL's ultimate what if. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins can overwhelm anyone, but every season, the same weakness has dragged them back down.
But if they just get solid defensive play, we don't need great. We don't need this to be the best defense in the NFL. But if the Bengals can be a top 16 defense this year, no reason to believe they can't compete and try to return to SoFi Stadium.
Now, Cincinnati has finally attacked the problem. The front office has finally gone
This
all
is what I was discussing earlier. You know, they addressed some things in this off season. Y'all, I'm very impressed with this video so far.
in on fixing that dismal defense, and with upgrades all but guaranteed, it's clear they are going to be a problem. Yep, it's time to admit that this is not the same Cincinnati Bengals. Of course, you have to start off with that defense. How could you not? Whenever Burrow has been healthy, Cincinnati has had one of football's most dangerous offenses, and that's exactly what made the last few years so infuriating. They didn't need any elite defense.
Y'all, this just goes back to what I just said. I said that Joe Burrow has proven that he doesn't need you to be the best of the best. He can still get things done, but he at least needs you to be somewhat decent, right? Like, it cannot be the way it has been the past couple of seasons. You got to give him something to work with. And I feel like this is the changes that the Bengals have tried to make this upcoming season. Although the way he was getting sacked, you know, because he did play, you know, a few snaps for preseason games. That offensive line, that they gotta show me something, because if that's what we're working with, I have some concerns. I trust that, you know, they will mesh as time goes on, but early on, that wasn't it. Okay, I'm just gonna say that was not it.
They just needed one that wasn't actively costing them games. Unfortunately, that's exactly what they had. The Bengals' defense has been bad. Like, historically bad. This is a defense that ranked 30th in points per game allowed in 2020.
Oh my goodness. I keep saying it over and over, but this is everything that I just got done talking about. Shout out to Derek for sending me this video. I'm telling you, it's been spot on from the start. But this is also something that Derek has talked about as well in the chat. Y'all know that Derek is a Bengals fan, but he has brought up how bad that defense has been.
25 at 28.9 and 31st in total yards allowed per game, giving up 382.1 per game. So no matter what Joe Burrow and sometimes Flacco and company did, a lot of wins turned into losses due to the defense's sheer ineptitude. They simply couldn't rush the passer or defend the pass. Clearly, something had to change.
They really did not have the guys to do it. I think adding Jonathan Allen, shout out to Jonathan Allen, roll tide to him. He played for Alabama, but I know he's older, but similar to a situation like you get with Von Miller now at the Cowboys. Even though he's older, I still feel like those guys still have something to offer. You have the veteran presence there, and they will at least show you something, right? I mean, it's not going to be what you get with a younger player, obviously, but they will have something to offer. And I think adding a guy like Jonathan Allen, that was great, because we all seen what he did not only at Alabama but also with the Washington Commanders whenever he was there. I can't remember where he went after Washington Commanders. I want to say that he went to the Vikings and then he went to the Bengals.
Change it did. This is where things became very un-Bengals-like. Cincinnati didn't sit on its draft capital and hope another cheap defensive prospect developed. They took a gamble. They traded the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence. Sure, Sexy Dexy had a down year last.
I cannot stand calling him that. You know what? I do know a Dexter, y'all. I don't know if he wants me to like call out his like username, but I do know a Dexter. I'm telling you, I'm not calling him that. I'm not calling him that. I don't know how, well, I do know how that he got that nickname Sexy Dexy. It's just weird to me. Am I the only one? I just don't feel like that is a good nickname for a football player. I feel uncomfortable seeing grown men call him Sexy Dexy. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what it is. It comes down to I'm uncomfortable with these grown men referring to Dexter Lawrence as Sexy Dexy. That's really what I have an issue with. Because I'm like, how do you do that? Hold on, we're at 213. I'm like, how do you do that? Because I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Which one is it?
How do you do that? How do you do that?
What the hell is going on?
What the heck is going on? Calling a grown man sexy Dexy. I'm not here for it, y'all. Thank you, Pooh Man, because I was like, dang, I already forgot.
How many times can one
213,
team
y'all. 213 is where we were at. Yeah, okay, 3 a.m. I'm not alone. You said not calling no grown man sexy. I got news for you. I don't have that sound drop, but shout out to Coop. I know he plays that one often. Yeah, that's what I really have an issue with, is calling, like, seeing grown men call this guy sexy Dexy. It'd be different. Maybe it'd be different if it was a female calling him that, but the fact that it's grown men out here calling him sexy Dexy, I swear, if he makes a play this upcoming season and I hear a commentator say sexy Dexy on the play, I'm gonna be sick. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear no grown man call Dexter Lawrence sexy Dexy. Okay? I can't. I can't do it. Alright, that's enough of me ranting about that.
Dexter Lawrence. Sure, Sexy Dexy had a down year last year, only recording a half sack, 1 pick, and 31 total tackles for the Giants, but there's no denying that this guy has immense talent. He's not far removed from his career year in 2024, when he had 9 sacks in just 12 games with 44 tackles. A lot of Bengals fans may believe this is a gamble, but if he gets back to the player he was in 2024, the Bengals won't even be...
could just be the type of player, and we see it all the time in football, or just in athletics in general, but we see it all the time where a player will struggle at a certain team, and it's really not the player. I've talked about this often. It's not the player that's the problem. Sometimes it's the coaching. Sometimes it's the coaching that's the issue, and they just need a change of scenery. They need a different team. They need to be under different coaching, and then they're able to go back to how they started. But I don't always put it on the player, because sometimes the coaching sucks. Y'all know what Micah Parsons said. We're at 235, y'all. We're at 235. But Micah Parsons, I said that I'm going to have this drop, and I did, y'all. I got this drop, and I have it for a reason.
Because I be saying so much about it, especially like on our team. And people love to blame the players so much. They be like, oh, he's just not what he thought he could be. And in my head, I want to tweet out so bad is, when are we going to stop saying it's players instead of saying, or it's coaching or scheme? Like, why don't the scheme ever suck? Why don't the coaching ever suck? Like, people don't realize that, bro. There be a lot of, like, you know, BS that be going into this league, like, that people don't realize, like, you think I want to be doing the BS? They telling me I got to do it. Like, because I be saying,
shout out to Micah Parsons, because that was the truth, y'all.
How many times can
that
one
was
team...
the truth when it comes to, you know, it's really not always the players. Sometimes it's the coaching. You got to look at the coaching. You got to look at the scheme. And that was Micah Parsons whenever he was at the Dallas Cowboys. You know, he was on his podcast, and we all know how atrocious the defense has been for the Dallas Cowboys. But he was talking about, you know, why is it the player that always sucks? Why is it never the coaching or the scheme? And that's a clear issue. But that was Micah Parsons with Darius Slay Jr. Shout out to Darius Slay Jr. Y'all know he retired. Outstanding career. I really like Slay Jr. Anyways, let's get back to it. We're at 235. Shout out to Pooh Man.
The player he was in 2024, the Bengals won't even be thinking about that number 10 pick.
Dexter's going to provide more pass rush than Reader. That's one of the things that's really incredible about him, is his ability to rush the passer, but he's also able to defend the run.
Luckily, the man they call Sexy Dexy isn't the only player who brings some much-needed juice to the Bengals' front. Jonathan Allen signed a 2-year, $28 million deal and brings 9 years of experience with him. Suddenly, a defensive front that couldn't control games has 2 veterans capable of collapsing the pocket from the inside. But Cincinnati didn't fix everything cleanly. There was one problem.
Talk about adding Jonathan Allen. I thought Jonathan Allen was a good add, and here we are. But hey, he says they didn't fix everything cleanly, so let's hear what he has to say.
While Cincinnati rebuilt the middle of its defense, it lost its best edge rusher to Baltimore of all teams. That meant there was a hell of a lot of production to replace. With Trey Hendrickson missing so much of the 2025 season, the Bengals ranked just 24th in total sacks. This forced the front office to get crafty. How could they get better without their star edge rusher and without coughing up too much cash?
Man, that was an interesting one. Losing Hendrickson to Baltimore, I was not surprised by that. I was not surprised by that, to say the least, because I just knew, like, he was getting fed up. He wanted out. He wanted the money, right? So I knew that was going to end the way it did. And I know that people were talking about, well, he could go to the Cowboys. And I was like, I don't know if the Cowboys will pick him up. I think age was probably a factor. And then I believe, coming off of injury, I think he had like a injury similar to what you see with Max Crosby. So I didn't think that was going to be the case. But him being added to Baltimore, I think was the perfect fit for him.
Answer was to spread those upgrades across the defense rather than finding one direct replacement. Enter Boye Mafe and Brian Cook. Super Bowl champion Boye Mafe may not be a household name, but he can find ways to influence the game unlike anyone the Bengals had last year. His 2023 and 24 seasons showcased his motor and mentality with 92 tackles and 15 sacks combined. Getting him from the reigning Super Bowl champs feels like a bargain. So Lawrence and Allen have come in to control the line of scrimmage. Boye Mafe is the pressure off the edge. But what about the secondary, which couldn't tackle anyone in 2025? Well, to that point, safety Brian Cook is another great signing, and as a bonus, a local kid. What quality Mafe brings off the edge, Cook offers on the back end. Coming back to Cincinnati after playing for the Bearcats in college, he also brings Super Bowl winning pedigree from his time with the Chiefs, and the ability to...
I think they made the best decisions in an effort to please Joe Burrow. And I think they really did a decent job of it. Obviously, we'll see how it plays out. But so far, I'm liking the pieces that they're adding. And I like how this video is getting in depth with that.
Tackles all over the field. In fact, he had the 5th lowest missed tackle rate of any DB in football last year, which is something that these Bengals seriously needed help with. In general, Cook brings a level of communication and instincts that could shore up another major weakness for the Bengals. Neither guy is a star on Hendrickson's level, but they have Super Bowl DNA in their veins, which will be invaluable for these Bengals.
Holes to fill, needs on your team, things you want to do as the Bengals front office and coaching staff. Cook and Mafe make you better. Better than last year even. Trey was hurt. Trey was out. Your safeties weren't good. You add a safety. You add a pass rusher that played 17 games last season. Veteran pass rusher.
They're adding more consistency, ultimately, is what they're getting around to. Because, like you said, you had Hendrickson out. You had a safety issue, right? So then you add players that will give you consistency. If stay healthy, they will be there playing those games because he played 17 games, as they said.
Side. You got better. That's my general vibe for the Bengals. And
all that was left in the offseason was the draft. With Dexter Lawrence essentially their first-round pick, the Bengals focused on high upside talent that didn't need to start right away, but could develop into key pieces down the road. Up front, 41st overall pick Cassius Howell is a name Bengals fans will get excited about. Out of Texas A&M, he's set to be a menace for years to come. He may not get premium snaps, but you can bet that when he does get on the field, he'll wreak havoc.
I'm telling you,
last year,
Texas A&M is starting to produce top talent. They are under better coaching than what they had with Jimbo Fisher. Y'all, Jimbo Fisher, that was atrocious. Having top talent the way he did and not being able to develop those players and have a winning season, that was awful, and that's why he was fired. But then you bring in this new head coach that they got. I believe he came from Duke, and he's been doing outstanding with developing this talent. And that's one of the guys that's a product of that with Hal.
With the Aggies, he was an instrumental part of their defense and their college football playoff run, recording 31 tackles and 11 sacks. Most impressively, he became the first Aggie since some guy called Myles Garrett to record 11.5 sacks. Now Howell will be the one carrying the torch for the Aggies in the AFC North. On the back end, third-round pick Takario Davis is more of a project, but blends the perfect amount of size and athleticism that could see him become a household name. His 50.6 passer rating allowed when targeted showcases his nose for the ball and his dominance in press man coverages.
I'll have to go back, but I believe that I gave the Bengals either a A- or a B+ when it comes to what they did this offseason. Now, that, I mean, obviously it can be a different case when the cleats hit the turf, but just going based off, you know, early looks and what they added and what they did in the draft, on paper, it looks good. And that's why I gave them, I believe, like an A- or a B+. But again, I would have to go back and look at the grades that I gave these different teams.
This tandem is the perfect supplement for the Bengals free agency haul. Like-for-like products who will surely be entrusted with the long-term goal of Super Bowl success. Now, that is what we call a defensive overhaul, and exactly the kind of change this Bengals team needed. Because remember, Cincinnati isn't asking this new defense to carry the team. It just has to be good enough to support what they already have on the other side.
I was sort of shocked that Joe came back.
This is what I've been saying. Like, Joe don't need you to be the best, right? Because he's proven that you can be, you know, a mediocre, semi-decent team and still accomplish something. He proved that whenever he took the Bengals to a Super Bowl in 2022. Ultimately, they didn't win, but he did at least get them there, right? And he did that with a offense. Offense was ranked like 28th, and then I researched where the defense was ranked, and they were ranked 18th. So he can get things done. He just needs you to be better than what he's had these past 2 seasons.
When the season had sort of fallen by the wayside, that when he comes back and when he's on the field and available and healthy, even with a downtrodden defense, even with some adverse circumstances during the season last year, he alone makes this team a contender. But if they just get solid defensive play, we don't need great. We don't need this to be
what Drift Sports said. He was like, I don't understand why Joe Burrow gets a pass. Like, you know, we see criticism with Lamar Jackson. We see criticism with Dak Prescott. But why does Joe Burrow get a pass? And it goes back to his talent. It goes back to his proven track record of showing you that he can get things done even if you don't have the best of the best on the team. That's why he gets a pass, in my opinion, a lot of times. I'm not saying that it's always justified, but I do understand why he does get that pass.
The best defense in the NFL. But if the Bengals can be a top 16 defense this year, no reason to believe they can't compete and try to return to SoFi Stadium.
With Joe Burrow, his ever-reliable wide receiver 1 and former college teammate Jamar Chase, and the NFL's best wide receiver 2, T. Higgins, Cincy is the envy of every team in the league. On the field, they are a 3-headed monster that are very rarely, if ever, slowed down.
I got into an argument with my friends who played, football, like they played the college level, right? But I got into an argument with them over Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, right? And we were just going back and forth with the stats, with the production. They were like, yeah, I get what you're saying, because y'all know my thoughts on CeeDee Lamb, right? But they were just trying to justify why it's okay that CeeDee Lamb has underperformed. And I'm like, I'm not justifying that whatsoever. He needs to do better. We didn't pay him top money just to catch 3 touchdowns, okay? But I'm curious, because one of the points they made was, his stats are going to be lower because he takes that pressure off of Pickens. Like when the eyes are all on CeeDee Lamb, he's getting all the targets, but I showed them where Pickens actually had more targets than CeeDee Lamb. But they were making these points, and I was just like, I was not really having it. I'll be honest with you, I was not having it. And now I'm curious because I didn't think about this until now. I'm curious with Jamar Chase being wide receiver 1 where he ranks. Like, I'm wondering where his stats were at compared to Higgins. I'm telling you, if Jamar Chase's stats were better than Higgins, I'm going to bring that up again. I'm going to bring this topic up with Nick and Trey again. Because I'm telling you, I did not like it. They were like, well, it's okay that his, stats were, not the highest, and this is why he's wide receiver 1. And I'm just like, I'm not buying that, okay? He has to do better. We can't put him as wide receiver 1 and him underperform. And if I see Jamar Chase's stats were better than Higgins, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be upset. You said, sorry, I had to step away. And hey, no problem, Derek. But Derek, I've been loving this video you sent me in the Discord. Shout out to you for this. It's been spot on with everything I've been saying about the Bengals.
It all starts with Joe Burrow at the helm. He's had his fair share of struggles through injury, but when he's active, there is no one like him in the NFL. Even with the lack of solid O-line play throughout his career, he still has delivered some big numbers. Take his 2024 season, for example. Coming back from an ugly wrist injury suffered in 2023, he threw for 4,918 yards, 43 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions. Those numbers ranked first in the NFL. This would have been enough for a surefire MVP award if not for the Bengals' disastrous efforts on defense, leading them to finish 9-8.
Okay, dang.
Instead,
I'm gonna have to take an L with this one with them. Okay, so maybe Trey and Nick had a little bit of a point. I'm okay with admitting when I'm wrong, but it said that Higgins had more touchdowns last season. So it said that, let me see, he had 11 touchdowns while Jamar Chase had 8. Jamar Chase is wide receiver 1, so with him getting... But see, I'm still going to have an issue with this, because if Jamar Chase was getting more targets, then that's justified. That's understandable why he's wide receiver 1. He's getting more targets, so he's going to have less touchdowns. But I have an issue with if, obviously, Pickens had more targets and more touchdowns than CeeDee Lamb. Now, if CeeDee Lamb... y'all, I got an issue with this. I'm going to do more research, y'all. I know I'm getting off topic, but now that they brought this up, it just got me thinking, because this happened Wednesday, actually. So when Cree was having her show, I missed some things that went down on Cree's show. But when Cree was having her show, this was when I was into that argument with Trey and Nick, my friends. So I really, I'm going to have to go look into this some more. And I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you, okay? Sorry I'm getting off topic.
Settle for the Comeback Player of the Year award and 4th in MVP voting.
The guy is outstanding, and if you want to win a football game and you have to choose somebody, and I know it's not a one-game season, but sometimes it comes down to that, who do you want? I would absolutely put him on a list of if I wind up with him or if I choose him, I'm very...
Well, I told you I would get back to you on this. This is where I have an issue. This is where I disagree with Trey and Nick. And I know they played the game of football. I get it, right? But I look at the facts. I watched the games. I seen how CeeDee Lamb performed. And I do not, like I said, I'm not justifying what he did. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm not doing it. I'm not the one, okay? And this is why. So their argument was, okay, well, they tried to say at first, look at CeeDee Lamb. He got more targets. And I was like, no. I said Pickens actually had more targets. They looked it up. They were like, oh, well, Pickens had like 135 and CeeDee Lamb only had 117. That's where I have an issue. Because CeeDee Lamb only had 3 touchdowns, less targets, and he still performed the way he did, and he's supposed to be wide receiver 1. Pickens had 9 touchdowns, 135 targets, and still was able to do what he did on the field. You look at Jamar Chase and Higgins. Even though Higgins had more touchdowns, Chase was targeted more. So Chase still had 8 touchdowns, but he did have more targets. So that's kind of justified why he is, wide receiver 1. Like, usually your wide receiver 1 is going to get more targets. But the fact that CeeDee Lamb had less targets and less touchdowns, miss me with that. Miss me with that mess. I am not here for that whatsoever. Y'all, I'm telling you, next time, Trey, Nick, if y'all listening to me, if y'all are listening, I'm on y'all's case. I'm going to be showing back up and telling y'all my 2 cents. And y'all, I was hanging it over their heads where I was, these are the same guys that, whenever we got into the discussion about Ohio State versus Indiana, and I told Trey and Nick both, I said, Indiana is going to win. Ohio State is going to lose. They didn't believe me. Sure enough, Indiana ended up winning. Oh man, I told them, I was like, y'all are going to have to stop underestimating me. I get so tired when they underestimate me. And this is why. Oh man, y'all, I'm so mad. I need to calm down. My blood pressure. My blood pressure is so bad. Let's play a joke, y'all. We're at 8:28 in that video. But now I need to calm down. Let's play something funny. But I'm taking shots fired at Nick and Trey, okay?
Sound like he got a drum over there. He got a switch, Joe.
He got a nice little Tommy gun.
Shots fired. Yeah. Shots fired.
He fired that thing at somebody, Ocho.
Oh man, I do need to calm down. Okay, I do need to calm down.
Hey, calm down. I don't like your tone. I don't like your tone. Let's take the decibels down a little bit.
But I'm just like, how? How can y'all try to justify CeeDee Lamb's performance? They kept saying, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But you gotta quit being so heavy on the analytics. Y'all, I am heavy on analytics. But I also watched the game. Y'all, I seen the game. I seen that, Pickens had more targets than CeeDee Lamb. I seen how CeeDee Lamb was dropping passes. But so I'm just like, how? How are y'all justifying that he should still remain wide receiver 1 while underperforming? I cannot get behind that. Let's see. I'm getting so mad over this again. Every time I try to calm down, I start to rehash it in my mind, and then it gets me heated. But I'm like, how?
How? Hold on, bro. How? How you? I'm saying, how? Like, talk to me, bro.
Oh, it's a good time for a boozy drop too. Because I'm going to stand on that, y'all. I'm standing on everything I said when it comes to CeeDee Lamb. Y'all, we're going to get into that again. Like the final 2-minute drill that we have at the end of the show, I'm covering that again. I'm going to get into it again. Because I'm standing on it. Let me see. Where's that drop at? Where's that drop? Here we go.
Fuck no. And I'm gonna stand on that. Okay. And they can get in my DM. You can get in my DM all you want every day.
Shout out to Ty Pro in the building. Ty Pro said, get the hula hoop, Chels. I wonder if I still have that. Shout out to Ty Pro. He's the one that created this drop, y'all.
Howdy, y'all. This is Pumpkin Spice coming to you live from the 50-yard line where the Cowboys are fixing to kick things off. I'm keeping these hoops spinning on my waist, arms, and legs, but my eyes are on the action, and I gotta tell you, it's electric out here. Fans are...
Shout out to Ty Pro for making that. I do need to get my hula hoop after this. Let's play Ty Pro's drop. I got 2 for Ty Pro. Let me see. Where is it at? Gotta do some scrolling here. Maybe it's at the front now. Let's see. Because I did have to rearrange it. Okay, here we go.
I love pretty women, period. No matter what you hear or see, my bitches gotta be bad. My lady, my one lady.
Finish this phrase, leave it what?
In.
Name something specific.
I love pretty women.
Alright, shout out to Ty Pro. Where did I say
How
I was
many
at?
times can one team waste a championship?
Like that? Or maybe it was 8:48. I don't even know. I was so heated over that debate that I forgot where I said I was at.
He's had his fair share of struggles through injury, but when he's active, there is no one like him in the NFL. Even with the lack of solid O-line play throughout his career, he still has delivered some big numbers.
I'm standing 10 toes down, and I'm telling you, I'm going to hit up Trey, or no, it was Nick. They're brothers. I got them mixed up because, they're basically the same when it comes to certain topics. And that one, they were the same on. And every time I was battling them about this topic, they would just try to excuse it. And I'm like, why are y'all making excuses for CeeDee Lamb? Because I'm giving you all the facts. Like, I'm giving you all the stats, and it's not just the stats. It's not just the analytics. It's also watching the game. You can clearly see watching the game, Pickens is outperforming CeeDee Lamb. And then you just look at Jamar Chase and Higgins, and I know that even though Higgins had more touchdowns, really, if you look at the targets is what matters, and the fact that your wide receiver 1 is getting more targets but still performing well, like Chase is, that's the difference. I would justify it if CeeDee Lamb was doing what Jamar Chase was doing, but the fact that he isn't, that's why I'm like, miss me with that. Miss me with that. Oh, shout out to you. Shout out to you, Pooh Man. I was at 828. Okay. Because I forgot. I was so heated. I need to calm down again.
Absolutely put him on a list of if I wind up with him or if I choose him, I'm very happy.
I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Okay. That's why he's 4th on the list, because he is that friggin' good.
And who wouldn't, especially with the 2 receivers he has at his disposal. Starting with Chase, the numbers speak for themselves. Over 6,800 yards in his career, 54 touchdowns, 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, an impressive 13.1 yards per catch in his career. Oh, and if you thought Burrows 2024 was successful, just wait until you hear Jamar Chase's stats. 127 catches for a whopping 1,708 yards and
Y'all, I swear I'm gonna do a deep dive comparing Jamar Chase to CeeDee Lamb and why it's justified that Jamar Chase is a wide receiver 1, but why it's not justified that CeeDee Lamb is, okay? And that's not going to be hard to do. I'm just telling you. Going off of what CeeDee Lamb gave us this last season, that's not going to be difficult for me to do.
18 touchdowns. He earned the receiving triple crown, becoming only the 6th player in NFL history to do so. The man is a walking record setter. Every time he steps on a field, magic happens. The good news for Bengals fans, they get to watch this guy every Sunday cut teams to shreds. The bad news for Bengals opponents, he also has a pretty solid partner in crime. It's one thing to try and slow down one elite receiver like Chase. It's quite another when you have him and someone like T. Higgins. Higgins is the perfect complement to Chase's versatility. As a boundary receiver, he makes contested catches with ease down the sideline. His 5,441 yards and 45 touchdowns are no slouch compared to Chase's. And, oh yeah, he had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in his 2nd and 3rd years in the league. He earned his first Pro Bowl selection last year, proving that he's more than just Chase's foil.
Even Higgins is probably getting better stats than CeeDee Lamb.
Now, Higgins could be primed for yet another stellar season with a healthy Burrow back in place.
Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are the best tandem in football. Yes. I don't care what you say. I don't care who you think. Don't tell me about the one guy. I'm talking about 2 solid guys who people fear and concern themselves, and Jamar Chase are those guys. However, this is a team that carries 6 wide receivers every single year. And think about it. Jamar Chase, he ain't playing special teams. That brother's a Triple Crown winner. No, thank you. We don't do gin pop. 2, T. Higgins. T. Higgins, man, elite.
It's no secret that when you have Batman at quarterback and Superman and Spider-Man as your receivers, your offense feels invincible, especially with the numbers they put up. In fact, whenever Burrow's been healthy, the Bengals' scoring offense has never dropped below 7th in the league. With that level of production, you shouldn't need to worry about the defense all that much. And hopefully this year, with all the changes we've discussed, they won't need to. While every season has felt the same for the Cincinnati Bengals since Joe Burrow became their quarterback, This year just feels different. It's as if everything is finally coming together, thanks to a fantastic and un-Bengals-like offseason. With hopefully a full year of Joe Burrow and his 2 superstar receivers, this team has enough offensive juice to win 10 games on its own. But now, they have the solid defense they need to back them up.
I'm just saying, that offensive line, preseason, it didn't look good. But, I mean, obviously it's going to take time to improve and grow and get better. So, I am giving them grace. But, I mean, just off of early looks, it wasn't it. Okay? That's all I'm saying.
So, will the Bengals hoist the Lombardi Trophy this season? Let us know in the comments.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I would hope so. Like, obviously I want the Dallas Cowboys to go to a Super Bowl. Do I see that happening? You all know how I'm not a delusional Cowboy fan, okay? I'm not saying we go into a Super Bowl every year. I would like it, but I'm not saying that's gonna happen. But obviously I want that for Dak Prescott. If the Cowboys are not in it, I would go for Joe Burrow with the Bengals. I would go for Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. And y'all, I really want it for Lamar Jackson. Y'all know I really like Lamar Jackson. Call me biased, but I want to see a black quarterback, you know, go to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl again. So that's just me though, but maybe I'm biased. Some might say I'm biased, which is unfortunate. Don't y'all get tired of seeing like white quarterbacks win a Super Bowl? Like, give me something different. Shake it up a bit, okay?
That's just me. Maybe I'm biased a little bit. Maybe I'm biased a lot of bit. But who cares for this discussion?
So I wouldn't mind seeing Lamar Jackson get it, especially after he said what he said in his NFL draft speech to Deion Sanders. He said, they're going to get a Super Bowl out of me. Believe that. Ever since he said that, I want it so bad for Lamar Jackson. But, you know, Dak Prescott, if he was in it, I would want to see Dak Prescott win a Super Bowl. But y'all know how I am. I'm not the delusional Cowboy fan. I'm not saying that we going to a Super Bowl every year. I just ain't the one. Let's see. Do I have a Stephen A. One for that? Yeah, I'm not getting bamboozled. Y'all know I'm not getting bamboozled when it comes to the Cowboys.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out
And I'm also sick of these people, sick of the delusional Cowboy fans that say we go into a Super Bowl every year. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Jerry Jones.
I'm so sick of these people. You know,
All right, there we go. Let's see what y'all are saying. No, the Bengals aren't even winning their division. Burrow is getting hurt like always, and the season is over. Okay, shout out to Mild in that yak. I don't believe I've seen you in here before, but shout out to you for that little chat. Yeah, we'll see. I hope that's not the case. I hope Joe Burrow can stay healthy. I know that, you know, we just went over everything that they added for the Bengals, so we'll see if they can all mesh and make something happen, but it's going to go one or two ways, right? I don't know how it's going to go. Let's go back to that drop. It could go either way, y'all. It could go either way when it comes to the Bengals.
I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know how it's going to go. It could go either way. It could go either way.
Let's see. Cowboys get the wild card. Okay, that's an interesting take, Derek. I'm not mad at that take. I'll take it. Let's see. Lamar and his defense choke in the playoffs, so I don't believe in the Ravens. Now, see, here's what I have to say to that. I've been a big advocate for Lamar. Lamar really does not choke. If you go back to that last season game against the Steelers, Lamar Jackson did everything right. He made outstanding plays. I'm telling you, he was airing it out, and it was like back and forth between Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. But Lamar, he did everything in his power to try to win the Ravens that game. what ended up happening? The field goal kicker missed. It was on that field goal kicker. We can't put that on Lamar. Lamar didn't choke in that. You know, I don't know about any other games. I'd have to go back and look. But for that game last season, that wasn't Lamar. That was on that field goal kicker who missed. So that's just my thoughts when it comes to Lamar. I really don't like the criticism. Sometimes I feel like it's unnecessary when it comes to Lamar Jackson. People like to claim that he chokes, but if you really look at it, that's really not always the case. But shout out to you, Miles and the Yak. I'm glad to see you here. He'll never get one. Yeah, see, that's my thing is I don't know if the NFL really wants Lamar Jackson to get a Super Bowl. But I feel like he would be a great face for a Super Bowl win. Because y'all know, what do they say at the end of the game about Disney? Who's going to Disney? So I think Lamar would be a perfect one to represent that. Let's see. You said Burrows season will face Houston, and they will have 10 sacks versus the Bengals. And Burrow will be carried off the field. The O-line is bad. Yeah, and this is what I said. Like early on, what I saw in preseason, because y'all know they started their offensive line and Joe Burrow in a preseason game. What I seen, that was not it. That was not a good first look. Okay, I'm just saying that was not what I wanted to see at all. I really hope it gets cleaned up, and that it kind of explains why Joe Burrow was saying what he said and why Jamar Chase said what he said in an interview. And y'all can go check out my recent shorts if you want to know what I'm referring to when I'm talking about that. But Houston, that is the defense that I was saying earlier. I love Houston's defense. Y'all know I'm big on Will Anderson Jr. He came out of Alabama. They also have Henry Otoa, who came out of Alabama. They have Stingley, and they have great pieces on that Houston defense. Even last night, watching Houston versus the Raiders, I know the Raiders ended up winning by 2 points, but Houston's defense, even their backups look outstanding. Y'all, that Houston defense is nothing to play about. And I've said it from the start. Houston's defense is one of my top favorites lately in the NFL. We'll see if that holds up when the season starts. But so far, that's been my favorite defense in the NFL. Not just Lamar, the whole time is weak in the playoffs. They never finish. Okay, yeah, the whole team. I see what you're saying. Okay, you're saying the whole team is weak in the playoffs. They never finish. Lamar doesn't choke. Lamar turns the ball over every single game in the playoffs. His turnovers are just as bad as his defense because he throws picks. Yeah, but I will say, like, that last game, like I said, you know, if you go back to the Steelers versus the Ravens last season, Lamar had a heck of a game. He did everything right, and it came down to that field goal kick, and the field goal kicker missed. So that's why I mean, maybe in other games, obviously every quarterback's going to have turnovers. It doesn't matter who you are. You're going to make mistakes. And I just don't like putting it solely on one person. I get that the quarterback's going to take the most heat because that's who the ball runs through. But I just don't know if it's always justified. And definitely in that situation, Ravens versus Steelers last season, that was one where Lamar did everything right and that field goal kicker missed. That was something else. But that was a great game. I've been saying that was actually one of my favorite games that came out of last season was the Steelers versus Ravens. Lame Lamar jokes. Derek, he's something else. Houday. Alright, y'all. Oh, CDTV says live. Yeah. Is it already 8 o'clock? Yeah, man, it's already 8 o'clock. I have one more video, and then we're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to go drop a comment and CDTV's just chat. Tell them I'm on the way. I'm on the way. But I definitely want to get to this Hurts disrespect video. And this is with Marcus Spears. Because y'all know, I hate the disrespect Hurts has been getting.
What's at stake for Jalen Hurts' future this season?
I think a lot, considering he was Super Bowl MVP a year and
Y'all,
a half.
I said it. I've been saying it. I get why that Hurts is probably on the QB hot seat. It's not a probably, he is. Let's just call it what it is. I don't think it's justified, but he is on that QB hot seat. And it's unfortunate.
I go back to that story we had on ESPN.com back in April, which really delineated a lot of the internal concerns that the Eagles have had about Jalen Hurts and his role in their offensive struggles the last couple of years. So if you fast forward and he doesn't, what, Swagoo? I mean, I'm just saying, like, the call's coming from inside the house.
I'm mad at you, Grosh.
Why did I do?
I think he's over there.
I love Marcus Spears. Y'all know he's one of my favorites. He played for Nick Saban at LSU, but he's probably one of my favorite analysts that ESPN has. I'm still ticked off at ESPN for getting rid of Ryan Clark, but at least I still have Swagoo.
I've heard the banter this summer. You know what pisses me off, man, is like we kind of undermine the fact that this dude has never had a coordinator.
I get it.
Consecutive years. Like I'm saying
it's not fair.
Just know that it's not directed towards you.
I understand.
But my point is, a Super Bowl MVP.
That has been my thing. Like, people don't take into consideration everything that Hurts has been throughout his entire career. You look at how many offensive coordinators this guy has had since he started playing. I mean, I didn't keep up with him in high school, but I've heard talks about how he had different offensive coordinators even when he was in high school. Me being an Alabama fan, obviously I've seen him play at Alabama. Of course, I know that they had so many different offensive coordinators throughout his time at Alabama, and then obviously he transferred to Oklahoma. He had a different offensive coordinator there, and then, going into the NFL, he's had different offensive coordinators since he's been there. So he hasn't had a consistent offensive coordinator since he started playing in college. That's crazy to think about, and people still underestimate him. I don't get it. He has proven time and time again how he can overcome any obstacle. You can put him in any type of different offensive scheme, and this guy is going to perform and do well. So why do we underestimate him? I really do not like the Jalen Hurts disrespect, and I am glad that Marcus Spears is speaking on this.
Super Bowl and probably would have been the MVP of that one if they would have won the game. And we having conversations about if he can be the quarterback.
Thank you, Miles. Miles and that yak. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. I'll call you Miles. I'm going to just call you Miles for short. But exactly, if he is winning with multiple OCs, that kind of says something, right? You would think.
For a franchise that has consistently won games. Like, you could be the Raiders.
But
like Philly, you could be the Raiders.
How did he get the job?
With Carson Wentz going down.
When they decided to move on from Carson Wentz.
Graz, I know that.
I don't like where he's going with that. Obviously, that is just something that happens throughout football in general where, a guy will go out and then the next man up mentality. I get that, right? But someone who's consistently proven to you that he can produce and perform, it's like, why are you underestimating him? Why are you doubting him? And that has consistently been the theme for Hurts' career. If I could pick probably one word to describe Hurts' career, it would be doubted. How much people doubt him.
Carson Wentz did not win a Super Bowl and be an MVP, and he didn't go to another one.
The first year they won the Super Bowl, Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate and helped get them there, right? And they still move on a year and a half later.
But Carson Wentz didn't win the Super Bowl. Am I right? Y'all, refresh my memory. Did Carson Wentz win a Super Bowl with the Eagles? I gotta Google it, y'all. We gotta Google it. I don't believe he did. Did Carson Wentz win a Super Bowl? I gotta see if he did. Oh, he did. Dang it. Dang it. I don't remember this. 2017, that's right. Was he the backup quarterback? Because I know that the Eagles aren't the Eagles one of the few teams that had a backup quarterback who won? I don't remember if it was Carson Wentz or if it was another guy. But man, I didn't know that Carson Wentz won a Super Bowl. Did he really win a Super Bowl? Man, why am I forgetting that? Who was in the Super Bowl? Now I gotta Google who was in the Super Bowl. No, I'm right. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Miles. I was right, because I was like, wait, but I thought a backup quarterback was in the game, and it was not Carson Wentz. Nick Foles. Thank you. I knew I wasn't tripping. Y'all, this had me thinking I was crazy. But shout out to you, Miles. You knew what I was talking about. Yes, it was Nick. Nick Foles came into the game, and the backup quarterback took over. Because I remember there was a, stat about the Eagles being one of the few teams that has won with a backup quarterback. Y'all. See, this is where I draw the line. Like, how can you make the comparison of Carson Wentz to Jalen Hurts, knowing that Carson Wentz didn't play in the Super Bowl? Like, he didn't do what Jalen Hurts did. That's not the same thing. He's out his mind.
Understand that, and I know this is Philly's MO. They will move on from you. I'm not talking about Philly. I'm talking about the conversation revolving around Jalen Hurts.
I'm with you. I'm just trying to forecast what might happen, not what should happen.
Yeah.
And to Swagoo's
on the negative side again, I see.
But look, to Swagoo's point, if we're the Philadelphia Eagles, look, we may like Tanner McKee, but if we're going to move on from Jalen Hurts, like, he has produced, as we said, back-to-back Super Bowls. It is a long time
The fact that we're
coming
even talking about moving on from Hurts is just crazy to think about. I'm just like, how can this be the consistent theme for Jalen Hurts' career? Because I look at, his college days, and I get what happened with college, right? That was a whole different situation. Jalen Hurts was not the passer that he is today. And he really didn't improve until his last few years after he got benched. Nick Saban said, hey, you're going to have to be more of a pocket passer. The game is changing, and if you want to play in the NFL, you're going to have to become more of that pocket passer. You can't just get it with your legs. What did he do? He overcame that obstacle. He improved. He showed that he can, get the passing down. He did that his last few years at Alabama, sitting under Tua Tagovailoa, and then he transferred to Oklahoma. He asked Nick Saban, which schools would best benefit me to improve to get me to a NFL draft, a shot in the NFL. And Nick Saban told him, hey, I think Oklahoma, under that offensive coordinator, that gives you your best chance. And that's what he did. And he really improved his passing. So it's like, why? I don't get it. It's just unreal that we're sitting here again talking about the same thing when it comes to Hurts. Y'all, I have a drop for that. We're at 153. Oh, man. But it's crazy to me.
And we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again talking about the same things.
That's how it feels. We're sitting here again talking about the same thing, doubting Jalen Hurts. I don't get it.
What's at stake for Jalen Hurts?
Y'all? Where was I at in this video? We're just gonna fast forward. I don't think I was that far ahead. Here we go.
On this offseason or this coming season, and he's been able to do it. Not every year, because they change coordinators every year. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But more often than not, when they've given him an assignment to work on something specific and get better, he has aced it. Yep. If that happens, we're not having this conversation.
Great defense at his disposal. Did lose his #1 overall wide receiver to New England. Another new offensive coordinator.
I don't buy into that whole A.J. Brown thing. I know y'all seen that clip. If y'all are into watching a lot of ESPN like me, or sports news in general, y'all seen the clip of Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown together reuniting on the field for their joint practice. But I'm not under the impression that you need a big wide receiver to accomplish great things on offense. And I've given you an example. I mean, y'all know that how critical I am of CeeDee Lamb and his performance, right, after last season. But look at CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. They're honestly not the biggest guys. Like, they're very lean. I mean, obviously, CeeDee Lamb, I'm not talking about height. He has some height to him. But they are not, like, the bulkiest guys. They're not like a Julio Jones, a A.J. Brown, right? They're a lot leaner. So I'm not under the impression that you absolutely have to have a big wide receiver to accomplish things. I think the Eagles can get something done having Devontae Smith. I think they added Wicks, and who else? Who's the other guy that they added? Doesn't his name start with an M? Malachi or something like that? Malik? I can't remember his name. The guy that got in the draft. I'm not under the impression that you absolutely have to have like the big wide receivers to accomplish things.
What does it look like in Philly if we're having serious conversations late in the year in which maybe they are going to be moving on for them? How bad does it have to get?
I don't think they will have those conversations, because if you look back at the struggles, that's what we're looking at Jalen Hurts through the context of what we saw
Miles,
from the.
This is something that is going to be interesting. They talk so big on this upcoming QB draft class, right? You're going to have Arch Manning, and I can't remember all the other names that are in the list, but you have top notable names in this draft. Arch Manning's the first one that comes to mind, but those guys are going to go off the board quick, I think. You look at teams like Miami, the Atlanta Falcons, if things don't improve with Tua, the Jets even, it's like those teams are going to be really seeking after a quarterback. So it's like, is there going to be any talent left by the time the Eagles get to their pick? I don't know. I don't know. It just depends on, I guess, how many teams and what top talent there is, but I'm with you. I don't think it's wise if they move on from Jalen Hurts. I think he will make them regret it. And I'll give you an example of a QB that made them regret it. Baker Mayfield. Say what you want about Baker Mayfield, but I'm telling you, when the Browns moved on from Baker Mayfield after Baker Mayfield killed their drought for like how many years it had been since they made it to a playoff or whatever, Baker Mayfield did groundbreaking things with the Browns, and then they let him go. And they bring in Deshaun Watson. They paid Deshaun Watson all that money. Now look at the situation the Browns are in. I think Baker Mayfield, that's one guy that he made them regret it. Because he actually, did great things for Tampa. I know him in Tampa. I don't know if Tampa and Baker Mayfield has settled their, disagreements, but Baker Mayfield, he's gotten him to playoff games and all of that. And look at where the Browns are at. So I think if the Eagles move on from Hurts, it would be a similar situation. Jalen Hurts would make them regret it.
Offense last year, they were stale. They did nothing pre-snap to stress the defense. They were 29th in pre-snap motion. They never went under center. Not saying you have to live in that, but that helps out the run game. That helps out play action. They attacked almost exclusively the perimeter. Mm-hmm. They were not a middle of the field.
I thought you were going to say Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is another one, but I don't know if... Here's the interesting thing with Sam Darnold. I think it was more like he just needed a different team. Like, he was one of those cases where he just needed a different team to showcase his talent and what he can do. But with the Seahawks, they had a lot of key pieces that he needed to accomplish that thing. Sometimes you have a quarterback who, might not be the most talented, but because you have all the right pieces there, he's able to get something done. That's like an extremely rare case with what we've seen with the Seahawks, in my opinion. But Sam Darnold, you can't discredit what he did. You could most certainly add him to the list. But Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, those guys, they made a team regret it.
Offense is going to allow Hurts to actually stress the defense.
Yeah.
To not just line up and go, well, I hope AJ wins or Devontae wins.
Let's go back to a little history, right? Like me and Jay Raj was at SEC Network.
Yep.
This dude got benched in the national championship. Was it when Heisman candidate, took his team deep in the playoffs?
Y'all, I'm telling you, there's a reason why Jalen Hurts got benched in that game. Jalen Hurts was not playing like Jalen Hurts. That's all I'm going to say. He was trying to get it done with his legs. Y'all, I really want to go back and rewatch that game. But college football, that's it's really heavily copyrighted, so I would have to find workarounds with that. But that game is probably one of my favorites, where Tua steps in and ends up throwing that touchdown pass to Devontae Smith, but Jalen Hurts was getting shut down. He kept trying to get plays with his legs, and that Georgia defense under Kirby Smart wasn't playing. They were shutting him down. And so they had no choice but to put Tua in because Tua was a pocket passer. Now, with Tua, y'all, that game, just reliving it in my mind, ooh, Tua took that sack. He took that hit, and I was like, oh gosh, we're in trouble. As soon as I seen Tua take that hit, and it pushed us back a few yards, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. I was like, this might be game over for us. But then Tua came right back and hit Devontae Smith, and we ended up winning that game. Y'all, I'm telling you though, Jalen Hurts, it wasn't the same Jalen Hurts that you see now. But he did overcome those obstacles, right? He has proven that.
To Philly. And everybody, when he got drafted, was like, what the hell is Philly drafting Jalen Hurts for, coming off the Carson Wentz thing? Obviously, we know what went down with Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts comes into Philly with no expectation at all. I don't care what anybody says. They didn't see this coming from 100,000 miles away.
I like Marcus Spears' thoughts on this. But I'm going to say, I'm one that didn't doubt Jalen Hurts. Like, I said, you know, I don't know how it was going to go. It could go either way, right? But I said, if there's one thing with Jalen Hurts, it's he has improved. He showcased that at Oklahoma. If you saw him at Oklahoma and what he accomplished there in his final year in college football, it really shows you, hey, he's improved. He's gotten better at what he needed to do to accomplish something in the NFL. So I really did not doubt Jalen Hurts. Like, did I think he was going to accomplish what he accomplished by getting a Super Bowl? No, right? Like, no, that's difficult to predict, but I did think that he could step up to the plate. He could prove himself in the league, and that's what he did.
Productivity, the way he's been playing there in Philly. Howie has done a phenomenal job surrounding him with pieces. The defense has been good, but I don't care. Just like I said about C.J. Stroud, it's going to come back to the quarterback. What I know about Jalen Hurts is this. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, and is a Super Bowl MVP in the span of 5 years. And we've had conversations all summer about, well, Philly probably about to get rid of the
It's like you just look at everything that he's done.
Quarterback. What?
You feel that this is all unfair?
You just look at some of those plays he's had. It's like, how do you doubt the guy?
I think every part of it is unfair. He's had
this
6.
Shows you like how much he's improved with his passing. I mean, it's clear. Like, he won the Super Bowl and he got Super Bowl MVP.
Offensive coordinators and been to 2 Super Bowls.
Two of them things. Not just one. I mean, it'd be different if we were talking 1 Super Bowl, right? But he's been to 2 Super Bowls. That's not easy to do.
And won the Super Bowl MVP. With 6 of them.
There are guys in the league that are head coaches now, in part because of Jalen Hurts. There's no question. Look, there's no question about this young man being made of the right stuff.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen him go through adversity and come out there. This is, I don't think this is adversity.
Time and time again, why do we keep doubting him? That's my issue here.
But he's clearly been given an assignment here.
Yep.
Everybody knows what they want him to do better. I believe he can do it.
Yeah.
If he does, then this conversation looks silly in a year.
There's another big component here, which is their offensive line. Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson all missed a lot of time last year. And Sal Paolantonio made this point a couple days ago. When Lane Johnson plays, they win at a 66% rate. When he doesn't, they're under 500. So obviously it is about the quarterback, but those 3 offensive linemen are hugely consequential to how good they're going to be this year if they could play 17 games.
We've had a lot of camp scuffle. Do we need to make sure that
There's not going to be any.
It's all you're not going to be the one breaking it up.
0% chance.
I'm not mad at Grouse. I'm just mad at the narrative, man. I'm mad at the narrative.
Yeah, I'm mad at the narrative. I'm mad at the narrative that they keep doubting Jalen Hurts time and time again. I'm just so sick of it, y'all. Oh man, let's play that drop. We're at 540. Let's play that. I'm just so sick of these people doubting Jalen Hurts. Here we go.
I'm so sick of these people. You know, the
What's at stake for Jalen Hurts' future?
All right, I think we're almost done with this video.
I agree. In the NFL, we look for guys that do this. We look for guys that can go to 2 Super Bowls and win you one.
And we're criticizing him more than we are Justin Herbert for never winning a playoff
Isn't
game.
a little bit of it fair when you go back and look at that wild card game against the Niners?
None of it's fair. None of it's fair. What are we talking about? Ooh, this guy's going to tick me off. This guy's going to tick me all the way off. What are you talking about? Did you see that offensive line? Did you see the pieces that they were missing? They had Landon Dickerson out. They had one of their other offensive linemen out. Like, I mean, we're not talking about that, though. No, it's not fair. I hope Marcus Spears brings it up.
And you realize that game was there for the taking, and that offense couldn't move the ball at all before a final drive led by Hurts.
Y'all, we're at 6. We're at 6 even on this, but I want to punch this guy in the face. I want to punch him in the face. I really do. Let's see. I know I have a Kylie Kelsey one here that I've never played, but I'm playing it for this moment because I want to punch that guy in the face.
I want to punch you in the face. I'm not going to, but I want to.
I'm not going to, but I want to. I want to punch
What's
you in the
at stake
face.
for Jalen Hurts?
What are you talking about, sir? My blood pressure, y'all. I feel like it's going up.
Before a final drive led by Hurts ended in a turnover, which could have won the game.
We're going to find out, right? If the reason they weren't throwing over the middle of the field is because he doesn't want to or he doesn't think he can,
Holy
then
cow.
that's going to be a...
Beardman, you said it looks like the Heat is going to sign Klay Thompson. I can't say that other word, but this guy is full city boy and Megan Thee Stallion. Oh, Beardman, that's hilarious. Ooh, that's interesting though. Y'all, there's some big things going on in the NBA. I ain't gonna lie, but you have LeBron and Jalen at the 76ers, and then you add that Heat team with Klay Thompson. That's interesting.
That's a problem.
If it's because they weren't asking him to do it and he can, then it's going to look great.
And again, the definition of a quarterback is elevate those around you. Can he elevate?
And see,
of course Jalen Hurts can elevate. I mean, look, this guy is a leader. And you have guys like Devontae Smith who stand behind Jalen Hurts. Like they, play together in college. And he said that shout out to Devontae Smith, but he said one of the reasons why he chose Alabama was the relationship he developed with Jalen Hurts, that QB wide receiver relationship that you need to accomplish goals. And they had an understanding of it takes sacrifices. Neither one of them are always going to get what they want, right? Sometimes you have to make sacrifices. You've seen that with Jalen Hurts when he got benched. He had to make a sacrifice. He had to understand what was best for the team to accomplish winning championships. Devontae Smith himself has said that sometimes you're not always going to get the yards that you want as a receiver. You have to understand sometimes the running game is working better than the passing game, and you have to sacrifice that in order to accomplish the end goal. And having that mindset is the difference. I feel like that's why the Eagles are able to do what they did in returning to a Super Bowl with having that mindset.
And those other
what you
receivers.
two just said is that's the fair part of the conversation.
Yes.
The overall arching, he ain't good enough and we don't know, that is awful. Now, to your point, Graz, what you just said matters. If he can't get better, that's the job of NFL football players, especially at quarterback. Get better at what you don't do well over time.
I forgot. You're in Miami, so you probably do go for the Heat. You know what? I don't know why that wasn't clocking to me, but that makes sense why you're talking about the Heat now.
We can advance that part of your game. If he unwilling to do that, that's absolutely warranted for them to be thinking about somebody else. But this conversation about can we win with him and is he good enough?
But you know you can win.
Absolutely insane. And the disrespect has to stop. Y'all, my blood pressure, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, I got to calm down. We are done, y'all. We're done. Let me play this one drop though. I don't know how I made it through that. I didn't finish all the topics, y'all. I didn't finish all the topics, and I do still need to do the 2-minute drill that I have where I give y'all my hot takes on certain things that we just covered. But let's see. Let me calm down.
Hey, calm down. I don't like your tone. I don't like your tone. Let's take the decibels down a little bit.
Ooh, y'all. I'm ready to cut the show. I won't hold y'all. I am ready to cut the show. Let's see. Which one is it at? I think I have it under this one.
What's going on? I'm done. Cut the show. I'm done. Take me off. Take me off.
Y'all, just take me off. I'm tired, y'all. I'm really tired after everything, getting my blood pressure all worked up. But let's go into my final 2-minute drill here, where I'm going to give you all my hot takes on things. So, CJ Stroud. You know, we covered Mendoza with the Raiders and versus the Texans last night, and they got into CJ Stroud. Here's my thoughts with CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud will be just fine. That's going to be my hot take for the season. I think they added some pieces to help him out. Now my one concern is them losing their one wide receiver to injury. But I still think that they will be okay because they do have other pieces on that offense. I think their tight end, I believe they still have Schultz there. So I think their offense will be fine. They added Montgomery, that was a former running back for the Lions, and that was one key piece I really feel like the Texans needed to address, because if you don't have a good run game established, it's going to hurt your quarterback. If that quarterback throws an interception, the next play needs to be a run play to get them going back comfortable on offense. And if you don't have a good run game going, if it's getting shut down too, then that's just double trouble, okay, on offense. But I feel like CJ Stroud will be fine. I think he has a team rallying behind him. I'm not concerned with CJ Stroud. Let's see. What else is another hot take? Joe Burrow. I think I'm similar to what Pooh Man had to say on Joe Burrow. I think if the Bengals perform well, Joe Burrow's staying. If they at least make it to a playoff, I think Joe Burrow will probably stay. So that's my hot take on that. What else do I have that we covered? We covered the Bengals. Trying to think. We covered that video with Jalen Hurts. I'm telling you, Jalen Hurts is an interesting one because they're under a new offensive coordinator. They're running a different offensive scheme. I think Jalen Hurts will be okay too. That's going to be my hot take. I think if everything goes right, it's similar to Joe Burrow's situation. I think Jalen Hurts will be fine because Jalen Hurts has a track record of overcoming obstacles and getting better. And I think that the Eagles need to be patient with Jalen Hurts readjusting to this new offense. It would be really unfair if they get rid of Joe Burrow with the understanding of him being under a different offensive coordinator, different offensive scheme, and, having a different wide receiver situation going on. So that's my thoughts on that. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? CJ just needs a effing O-line. Okay, there you go, Miles. There you go. CJ can ball with any wide receiver line needs. Yep, I agree with that. No run game, dead in the water. Exactly. Okay, so you like the take on that. Shout out to that. You're backing me with my opinions when it comes to CJ Stroud. Shout out to that. Let me look. Hold on. Let's go back to it. Because I want to see if there was anything else. Oh, Mendoza, y'all. I didn't get into my thoughts about Mendoza. I think Mendoza will be okay. I know that early on last night, if you looked at the hits he was taking and that interception, you know, it doesn't look good. But it was like I said with Joe Burrow and with Mendoza. Look at Joe Burrow. Like, he gets that ball out quick. He has to have a high football IQ. He has no choice because that offensive line collapses on him. That's why Joe Burrow has the stat of getting that ball out, one of the quickest in the league, at 2.5 to, I believe, 3 or 4 seconds is how quickly Joe Burrow is getting that ball out. And I think if Mendoza is having an offensive line that's collapsing, he really needs that veteran presence under Kirk Cousins to keep studying and learning the best ways to improve at that, to understand getting that ball out quickly and looking at different defensive coverages. Because I think that's one thing that Mendoza struggled with last night. So there's my thoughts on Mendoza. So that was the final drill, y'all. My final play call on my thoughts. Let's close it out with a motivational video. Oh wait, y'all, I gotta play Beardman's drop. Shout out to Beardman in the building. Y'all know I love Beardman's drop. It will uplift my mood, okay? Because I'm telling you, after some of the things, getting into that whole video talking about Higgins and Jamar Chase, it just triggered me, comparing it to CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. What else triggered me? Oh, the Hurts thing. That triggered me too. But the Beardman drop, that will cheer me up. Here we go. Shout out to Beardman. Okay. Motivational video time, y'all. Let's close it out with the motivational video.
End of every day, you look at yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, did I get better today? If the answer is yes, and you do that for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, how much better are you going to be? Are you getting better every single day? That's the question. And it's just taking small steps. You don't try to get it all done in one day, in 1 week, in 1 year. It's the process of getting better every day and doing that for a period of years that then create the masterpiece. End of every day, you look yourself.
Constantly looking at ways to improve, ways to get better and grow. And I feel like that I've really done that. I've done that lately. But shout out to Kobe Bryant. Hopefully that motivates y'all. We, opened up with this motivational video, and we're closing it out with this motivational video as well. Hopefully it helps y'all like it did me. But that is going to be it. CDT Beats is live, y'all. Y'all know that's where I will be. I will be over at CDT Beats, decompressing after everything that I reacted to. That's why I love going over to CDT Beats, to relax my mind and decompress. But I will catch y'all over at CDT Beats is live. Shout out to y'all, everyone who subscribed to the channel today, and shout out to the International Quiet Storm and Mr. Ray for supporting the show by hitting the Cash App. I really do appreciate it. And thank you all for being active in the chat. Y'all, teamwork makes the dream work. I think that's the saying, right? So I could not do what I do without y'all. Y'all keep me motivated. Y'all keep me going and striving to be better. So shout out to that Touchdown Tribe. But I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.